I'll tell you, Charles, given the conditions here, people might presume Woodrow Wilson won the election last night.
There's wood everywhere.
A lot of wood.
There's wood everywhere. Yeah, this is, we're almost to Battery Park. This guy's a little weird here, Jason.
Yo, go film over there. Look to your left. He's the director, Charles.
That's right. Isn't that, who is that? Robert De Niro?
Yeah. It's like boom up, drop a double in that.
So we're advancing on Bryant Square. And
there's a lot of crazy people around.
there are a lot of seriously crazy people around, but there's a protest set to start in half an hour. Now this morning, Ari Fleischer, who used to be the press secretary, I believe, for George W., tweeted out in the morning that he had heard through 5 separate sources that there were going to be violent demonstrations, protests this afternoon in Midtown, and that we should avoid the area. So of course
this is
we
the
said,
moment my mother should tune out.
right, exactly. But so I immediately said, well, no, we actually should go to the area and see what's up.
Yeah.
And so we're half a block away. It is actually, we're back to very light traffic. I mean, this is unusually light for this time of day. Don't you
And
think,
everything is closed also.
Yeah.
So that's odd. But we are live. We've got people watching us, Charles. You know, yesterday during the sponsor exclusive More Pain, I don't know if people got a chance to see it, but Mike Moore was breaking news about Kathy Boockvar, who is the Pennsylvania State Attorney, or
Secretary of State.
Right, Secretary of State. So Mike had information from people within the state, you know, election whatever, saying that alleging that Boockvar was bending and breaking laws in several different counties to cheat on behalf of,
Right.
you know.
Well, this is the playbook. I mean, for me, it's not that I'm always a stickler for rules, but when you're going to get involved in contested situations, in this case involving tens of trillions, if you believe the Green New Deal crap, $100 trillion, you want to make sure that, you know, whatever the rules are, people play by them.
Yeah.
And we've just had 2 years of incessant primaries and speeches and debates and all that kind of stuff, and we're learning none of that really matters, because if the bureaucrats and operatives want to change the rules at the last minute, selectively enforce penalties against their people they don't like, promote people they do like, then that's just fine. You know, with what remains of the mainstream media and social media. Let's go up here.
Yeah, they're part of it.
Yeah. So the coverage, I thought last night, I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but I've had conversations with many folks at Fox in the past, and a number of them are highly professional, including Tucker Carlson. But the coverage last night was abominable. On the one hand, it started at 7, and on the one hand they said, listen, what we're going to do here is we're not going to rush to call anything. We're going to take our time. We've got this special team. We're not relying on surveys. We've got our own proprietary way of figuring this out. On the other hand, within seconds or minutes, they went ahead and they called Virginia for Biden with like 1% of the vote in.
Wow.
And it was preposterous. And then it seemed to me, as I watched the show for as long as I could stand it, that anytime they had an excuse to call something for Biden, they would. And though it seemed, for example, that Trump was going to win Florida, to me, and Ohio early, they waited until the very last. So it became on mainstream media, and Fox is, I suppose, furthest to the right of anything in mainstream media. Lord, I mean, I didn't watch the others. They probably were even more biased. And then in social media, anybody who wants to question the status quo, they ban or shadow ban.
Well, that's what happened to Mike Moore. They just straight out blocked the tweet, shut down his Twitter account, you know, live on the show while we were live streaming.
And this experiment in freedom that began here in 1776 has had
last night.
Ended today, maybe. You know, depending. Right now, one of the reasons we're up here is that they announced this morning there's going to be multiple protests. There's a protest, hasn't started here yet.
I didn't even see anybody assembling though.
They typically come pretty quickly. in a big mob. So we'll walk over to the other one that's supposed to start at 3:30, and one of the two of them should happen, and we'll see that it happens when we see the helicopters buzzing us
I
overhead.
heard helicopters this morning.
Yeah. Well, you have a helicopter following you all the time.
Right. It's like
As do I.
Goodfellas.
But so the issue here is, we've had in this 2-year process, we've had people in the mainstream media and elsewhere say, Biden is an insurmountable lead. Biden's ahead in the polls. Biden. Elizabeth Warren's going to be Secretary of Treasury. All this garbage.
Really?
Saying all this stuff, and no pushback. I mean, the variance between what was supposed to happen state by state versus what may have happened state by state, both in the presidential and the senatorial and the House races, is monumental. Last night on Fox, for example, I think it was at one point, one of the summaries was, Susan Collins in Maine is definitely going to lose. She's a casualty. And the Democrats are going to pick up 15 seats in the House. And that was just said as a certainty. But they could all
happen.
It certainly didn't happen. Susan Collins just conceded. Her opponent just conceded. And in Maine, one House seat so far has switched from Democrat to Republican. So what I've been doing through the day, it's a lot. We've been sucking on a fire hose here in terms of the news coming in. What I've been trying to do is in state by state, think about either what happened in 12 or what happened in 8 in that state, and what happened in 16, looking at the presidential comparisons alone, or in addition to that, looking at what happened in a Senate race. Take in Georgia, for example, Purdue crushing Ossoff, who was supposed to be a real challenge, and still Georgia's too close to call. Good luck, guys. Good, and you? So, oh boy, who's that?
That's somebody. Oh, God! Damn it! Fuck! Oops, we're still live. Crap, that just totally screwed up the broadcast, Charles.
It's okay.
No, it's not. It makes me super angry. I don't know if we're going to be able to get back to that. Stand by.
There you go. Something's there.
Okay. Man, there's a lot of stuff irritating me today, Charles. Before we continue with the tear, what I wanted to say about Mike Moore is that after we broke that, YouTube went and blocked the main channel. So
Wow.
It's really important for people to share this video. People are going to be watching it on Crowdsource and Truth 2. I gotta watch my mouth when I think we're not live. But people need to share this video. And this is the thing, Charles. It makes me sound like a baby to say, "Oh, my YouTube channel got blocked." But this is what they keep doing. They are the petty scumbags who just will not give up with their stupid lawsuits about nothing, their stupid accusations about nonsense, ignoring facts, suppressing people that are actually reporting news, boosting people that are blatant liars. It's really upsetting.
Oh yeah, it's horrible, and it needs to be changed. And we see that Donald Trump's administration does present an existential threat. I've been watching Steve Bannon's War Room Pandemic, and they're doing a pretty good job getting into the granular details of numbers, and historical comparisons, polls, and stuff. And
But he's talking about the hammer.
well, let's park that for a second. But one of the things Bannon was on a tear about is the first thing Trump's going to do on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning is he's going to fire Christopher Wray and fire Haspel and fire.
Do that anyway.
Well, I know, but the point is, this distracts that whole process, and I think what everybody who is opposing or is still resisting and supporting this certifiably insane presidential candidate, Biden, they're doing it because they don't ever expect Biden to be the president. They hope that the ticket wins, and then Biden will be declared incompetent, and they'll put in Harris, who's to the left of Bernie, in a bad way. So These are a bunch of puppeteers, and who have gotten away with this garbage for decades now. Think about the internet bubble, and now the social media bubble, tech bubble, finance bubble, and they've been able to amass, if you think what's on your various accounts, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, the information that people willingly put into these storage systems is massive. And the potential that security services have to go into that stuff and assemble a damaging package against you for leverage is pretty high. And we've all been doing this willingly, and now we have thought leaders who've been bought and paid for by the Communist Chinese Party, stamping out these scruffies in colleges and universities.
They simply don't believe it. They don't, no matter how much evidence they see, they say, oh no, that's fake news. That's Russian disinfo.
Now, that would be on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSDNC. That's the fake news. Yeah. Look at this.
I know.
Plywood everywhere.
It's Plywood Nation, Charles.
Right. So we can stop here if you want. I can run in and get you some Chick-fil-A.
No thanks. Too salty.
The macaroni and cheese at Chick-fil-A is good, but I think it's incredibly expensive.
I am sure it is loaded with fake crap that is terrible for you.
But you pay extra for that, Jason.
Yeah.
For the privilege. Now
So
here's
we're back over here at Grand Central, Charles.
well, there's a protest supposedly starting here at 3:30.
Oh, right.
So, 42nd and Park.
Why here?
Because it's right near Grand Central, and then I've seen them do it before. They start here, they suddenly swarm, and what are this called, a flash mob? They come, they agitate, and then they walk over into Bryant Park, and then from there they go wherever they may want to go. Bigger and bigger, yelling and screaming.
But it would seem that the people who want to agitate should be pretty happy with the results right now.
Well, again, what's their objective? I mean, I think their objective is to make sure that not only that sorry to cut you off there, that Biden is the president, but that the cabinet is progressive, left-leaning anarchists. I mean, they want to make sure that happens. So protests like this are meant as a message to silence Trump supporters, intimidate them, but also
got the vans filled with cops already.
Yeah, to silence, to intimidate supposedly moderate Democrats.
So are you guys expecting a huge protest over here?
We expected one, yeah.
3:30, right?
Yeah.
They said they're preparing for it, so.
The cops are preparing for it?
Yes.
Stay safe, guys. Thanks.
I
As
think we're in more
Biden
danger
would
than
say.
them.
Well, I think, you see, that's why I wanted to get here early. If they come over there and we're like over here, like where we are right now, we can hightail it up that way to get out of the way. But we wouldn't want to stand necessarily in front of there, I don't think, unless you disagree.
I don't disagree.
So this, just so people know, this is really, at one point, this was a very important piece of Manhattan. This is the main train terminal. This is where, before we had the Amtrak situation, this was the terminal from which all the long distance trains would go, at least when I was a kid. And then you had hotels around it, so in the days primarily of train travel, this was where what you encountered when you got here to New York City, and then you had Broadway nearby. South of us, I used to live 5 blocks south of here, and it's actually, if you don't have children, meaning that you don't have to worry about getting kids to and from school, there's a little pocket from 42nd down to about 36th or 7th Street that's really very pleasant. It's almost exactly the same as it was when I first bought the property in '83. And it's, easy to get around, decent restaurants, and underpriced compared to the rest of the city. But it's definitely.
I wonder how that'll transform in 15 minutes.
That's true. That's true.
Once the rioting gets underway. Well, I'll tell you, Charles, I was very disappointed with last night. I sort of expected Trump to handily get to 300 and something and squash Joe Biden. But I think that we've heard that states like Wisconsin have had more votes tallied than they have registered voters. What do you think about that?
We have to go through this with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, what Bannon was encouraging people to do this way, he said, unless President Trump acts immediately today, then he's going to lose. He's got to put his foot down. If there are these major irregularities that there appear to be in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, elsewhere,
Right.
Arizona, Nevada, they need to be stopped on. And politics can't just be this game where we all accept and say that the candidates can lie their asses off during a campaign and never be held to account because you have safe seats everywhere once you get into Congress and the Senate. People need to, if we're going to spend $6.5 trillion a year on government, we need to get good government for that, or we need to spend less money. And if we say we're going to spend $6.5 trillion, we absolutely cannot discover or have it be the fact that $2 trillion of that is going into the hands of various politicians inside and outside this country in secret accounts or real estate or other ways. So those would appear to be plain clothes.
I was going to say undercover vehicles, which I thought they said they were eliminating, which I thought was stupid when they said that. But I feel like right now we're standing in the center of where everything is going to converge.
No, absolutely. It's supposedly 42nd and Park, which is exactly where we are. What's the time?
Right now it is 3:16.
We got 14 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, what had happened was, and you talk about momentum on the channel, what was happening is that where Trump won Pennsylvania in 2016 by I think 60,000 votes or something like that, last night he was up, before they stopped, he was up at like 800,000.
Wow.
600,000 or 800,000, something like that. And then we wake up in the morning and suddenly all these new ballots are magically appear.
Counted.
The issue is, like anything else, you have to have integrity for your ballot. They wouldn't know about that in politics, but you have to know where the ballots were. It's very easy to sit there and have a bunch of crooks manufacture 150, or to be precise, 138,000 ballots. And the people who are keeping charge of these ballots before they're counted have to be honest people, and you have to have an ability to check and see and hold them to account. And that's the opposite of what's happened in Pennsylvania and what's happened in Michigan, it appears in Wisconsin and elsewhere. So this is really distressing that we would waste. I mean, for all of those people who want to spend time caterwauling about the Green New Deal, how much damage to the environment have we done by all of these rallies and indoor
Car rallies.
Well, I'm talking about, not to pick on Trump, all these meetings.
No, I mean Biden talking to people sitting in their cars.
Yeah, I mean that was really, somebody needs to do a spoof. I can't imagine who might do that. I mean, what you had there is you have an angry old man with a megaphone yelling at a bunch of parked cars with people tooting their horns when they hear complete inanities. I mean, it's like, we have to move forward, not backward. It's just.
But back to what Bannon was saying for a minute, Charles, I'm a little bit concerned that the president is already going in the wrong direction because he's pushing them to stop counting. Doesn't seem like that's where the focus needs to be. The focus needs to be on verifying that these ballots, like James O'Keefe had that video weeks ago of guys driving around in Minneapolis with ballots busting out of their cars.
Right.
And they've done nothing about that.
Yeah. You should, I mean, I'm no expert on security, but you should be able with ballots, there should be the equivalent of a tag in the ballot, some way of knowing. Ballots should be printed out sequentially. You should be able, in this day and age, to know where the ballot had been at all times. And when all of a sudden you start, in the case of, I think it was Wisconsin, I may have that wrong, but it was one of them where it came back that out of the blue, 138,000.
All for Biden.
Well, 133.
Yes.
And 5,000 for Trump. And for pure numbers, you're able to look at that and say, all right, where do these ballots come from? What happened in 16? How does this compare to the number of registrations? How does this compare to the other votes that have been cast so far? And you can look at all that.
Well, just from a random sampling of taking 140,000, shouldn't it be something like maybe 80 for one guy, 60 for the other guy? There's a term that John Cullen raised that he said you'd be familiar with, which if you're looking at a chart and suddenly there's a number that's like 1,000% out of whack, what is that called?
First and second deviations from the norm.
Somebody's number or something.
Right. Yeah. It's a deviation around the mean. You get a certain, you compute the average, and then you're able with this number, you can say in this band around the average, you should get a certain percentage of all results, and in this band, another. And if it's way out, you know it's
Something's wrong.
something screwed. But in the case of a lot of this voting, on the one hand, typically the city vote, the big municipalities in certain places in the country would break heavily for Biden, because you're talking about inner cities, you're talking about government workers, you're talking about, in many cases, a tradition of lifelong Democrats. But we've heard that the vote has changed this year, that there's a lot more black voting for Trump. And so with these votes that have materialized out of thin air, we should be able to go and say, all right, where'd they come from? You know, and let's go and see, how does this result in 2020 compared to 16 and 12? And sure seems screwy, and let's check some of these addresses. I mean, is this a real ballot? Or is this a real voter? I mean, up where I used to live, you would have to prove that you still lived at the address.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely.
They didn't do that here. They
And
just
you'd have
showed me my name and said, "Is this you?"
And then you had to sign your up in upstate. You had to sign your name, and
I had to sign.
but they would keep a register of all your votes, so you could suddenly your signature is very different. They can look at all the previous ones and say, "Wait a minute, what happened?"
I didn't have that, as far as I know. It was
Yeah.
signed in an iPad.
Yeah, no. Well, we're talking back. You know, with me, it was parchment, and there,
But yesterday, did you?
I didn't vote.
I thought you were going to vote. It wouldn't have mattered.
No,
here.
in New York. I mean, it's not going to vote. That's not going to matter for me.
The other thing people have been telling me, Charles, is that for some reason, if you use a Sharpie, that's not allowed. But then they were giving everybody Sharpies at the place.
To try to get you to use it, and then they can throw it out saying you used a Sharpie. I mean, these sort of tricks, when people say that I'm a political expert, let me tell you about these tricks. No, you're a con artist. You're
Exactly.
a fraudster. You're a crook. You know, there's nothing legitimate about this. Now, do you see these people are putting their helmets on? Police.
Riot police?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
they must
been
be
looking
expecting
at them
trouble.
a little bit. I mean,
They must be expecting, and there's more police over there. So, as I say, typically the way this works is
we aren't about to get stuck in a pincer, are we?
I don't see. I mean, we should see it move suddenly, and we'll see the bike people come first.
That's true.
We'll see people with backpacks, people dressed like that guy. I was wondering if he might be one, but people dressed in black with the backpacks, scruffies, and they tend to be accompanied like that. See that guy on the scooter?
Yep.
He could be, one of those lurpers. The guys who come in first.
Cops in action here.
Yeah. It's also when you see somebody who's heavily, wearing more clothes than you should be wearing, you wonder about that, like this guy.
Right.
Why do you need to wear so much in the way of clothing? And this is very nice and warm out here.
It is pretty warm today.
But I mean, he could be somebody who sleeps on the street.
A lot of stuff in there.
I don't. Boy, they really are.
Wow, the cops are accumulating here.
But it's funny you mentioned it. This does have the sense of the calm before the storm. There are fewer people out than normal. I don't know if we'll be able to get comments and learn whether there's any truth to the fact that Biden's going to announce that he won imminently. Rush Limbaugh said that he was hearing rumors. He called it rumor intelligence, that Biden was going to declare himself the victor at 4 p.m.
Right.
Others said 5 p.m.
Yeah, the comments are telling us that Bishop Gators is hosting Alex Jones right now.
Wow,
That's interesting that he hasn't returned a single one of my texts or phone calls.
he's busy.
Well, we were supposed to have a show yesterday, and he just totally missed it, ignored it, and didn't respond to any messages. I don't know if people realize this, but Alex Jones' producer called me and said, "Can we get in touch with the bishop?" And I said, "Sure." I think a lot of people, in my experience, aren't so generous when
Right.
other people contact you. Like, in other words, when J.J. Abrams said to me, "Hey, call my office on Monday," nobody in that office seemed to put my message through to him. But I don't do that. I mean, if Bishop is going to excel on Alex Jones, I'm happy to put him in touch there. Interesting that he would just totally ignore our show yesterday and not contact me. So I'll announce it here. Bishop, until you answer that woman's question, no more shows with the Bishop
No soup for you.
on Crowdsource the Truth. I mean, I don't really appreciate that type of unprofessional
I hear
communication.
somebody yelling. There's somebody with
After this afternoon, Charles, there may be no more shows on Crowdsource the Truth at all. Oh, look, cops up there.
Very interesting. Well, because they said the location of the protest was going to be 42nd and Park. So I'm unclear whether it was going to be up in there, which is all roadway, or more likely down here.
That could be the reason they selected this, because the cops won't know either. This is a pretty unique location in New York City in that regard.
Right. That's a sketchy looking dude right behind you. Look.
Yeah, he was checking us out for sure.
It's okay. Let's not mix it up with him.
Fucking eyes off of me, bro.
He's a scout.
I know that.
He's probably, the son of a banker or a law professor.
I was thinking of a different B word, Charles. He's looking right at us.
Good. Get his mug into the camera. Is his face
He's
covered?
texting somebody.
Good.
His face is covered.
This is a security person. I mean, we're surrounded by security people at this point, which is good.
I don't know that they're going to do anything to help us.
I think so.
Well, I got to say, Charles, it's a very weird feeling right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me, and we go back into the sordid history of B-Rock and the various color revolutions, first in the Middle East and then in Ukraine. The basic formula is you have an election, you want to impugn the integrity of the election so nobody's satisfied.
Right.
You then want to encourage there to be violence, and then you step in with an iron hand and squelch dissent and get rid of all of your enemies is the basic approach.
And the reasonable people are so agitated by the violence that they're like, all right, just make it end.
Right. And that tends to be the approach that folks take.
So that hand signal's going on here.
No, I think those are just friends. That way. Although he does have the look of the...
Yeah, he's got the look, he's got the backpack, they're standing in spots.
But I think these are tourists.
This guy just came over here.
No, I think these are tourists. But,
I don't know.
Those have
Vote, then what?
Vote. Well, then it could be. Maybe you're right. That is the old bicycle approach. Maybe.
Yeah, they're causing trouble, these people.
Yeah. It's probably Bill Ayer's wife or cousin. There's another
Troublemakers.
bicyclist. Very interesting. The footage here, assuming we make it through all this, here's a definite scruffy looking guy. See this guy with the what do you call that? The very bright color there, orange and black man. See him right ahead of you? No. What does that say? Out now. Fiera, out now. Yeah, Trump, Pence, out now.
Yeah.
He's headed over to Bryant Park. There's another scruffy looking dude. Hey, it'd be one thing if this country were flat on its ass like Germany or France or the UK, but we're poised to benefit, I think, substantially from any instability around the world because our economy is so large and deep. And where are you going to park a lot of wealth right now? You're not going to put it in China. You might put some in India. But around the world, if you had a big sovereign wealth fund like Norway, worth almost $1 trillion or $1 trillion, what are you going to do with that money? You're going to put it in the U.S., a bunch of it. It went down that way.
I'm watching.
In this coming instability, which seems like we're in now, I don't think this presidential election gets settled in 24 hours. Do you? I mean, maybe by some miracle, Trump and or Biden come forward and say, yes, we've got this locked. But
I'm just concerned, like with so many other things, the president is taking the wrong approach. He should have never put in
Sessions.
That guy's wearing a yarmulke. Should never put in Sessions. He should have never put in Barr. And we all sit around saying, oh, he's got to do this, he's got to do that, and it's kind of already too late.
Right.
So I hope he changes something, but I'm very concerned, I have to say, Charles.
Yeah, well, let's scroll it forward. I mean, the next week, let's imagine we're in a Bush v. Gore situation where both sides claim that they won. So then you've got protracted court battles that would go up to the Supreme Court. It was 37 days long in 2000, and ultimately it got resolved.
With Gore basically just giving up, right?
Well, he lost the Supreme Court case and couldn't go anywhere from there. But I think in this case, if let's say the Supreme Court rules for Trump, the resistance is going to say that Amy Coney Barrett was an illegitimate choice, and we don't respect the Supreme Court. So we have a scenario that could tip here into multiple months of instability. Equally, Trump could grow a set of big ones and just fire Wray, do the stuff that he's supposed to do, and suggest to Durham at this stage the election's over. But
Durham is done. I saw Tom Fitton on Lou Dobbs talking about some reports said that Durham found no evidence of anything.
recently,
It was last night, I think.
really?
I'm pretty
It's
sure.
impossible. I believe there are advances in the U.S. tax court case, Doyle and Moynihan. That people can see that on it's public. That there's slow glacial progress on those tax court matters. Sometimes take a long time to get resolved. Here's a video person.
Charles, what do you think about the idea of today, Trump firing, fire Christopher Wray,
Right.
fire William Barr, appoint Rudy Giuliani as interim Attorney General, Sidney Powell as Director of the FBI, and spend the next 2 months just
Wait.
tearing that thing out and bring charges against Hunter Biden? And what would happen if a trial like that brought out evidence that indicated that Joe Biden was engaged in treason while he ran for president?
There would be mayhem in the streets, and
Wouldn't that invalidate the election?
it should.
I mean, why doesn't he do that? Somebody tweet this at Trump. Not
Yep.
the part where I cursed.
So Giuliani is on his way now to Philadelphia to sort of ride herd on the process of contesting what's going on down in Pennsylvania. And maybe they will follow some element of the playbook you suggest. We should spend a few seconds talking about that fake Republican Chris Christie, who got up there and shamelessly and shamefully. Sorry? Well, we're in the middle of a podcast, but that's okay. But we're expecting a demonstration. Thank you.
What did he
What
ask?
about? Do you know, what's going on?
You know, just hanging out. What's going on with you?
Come on over.
At first I thought he was a Charles Ortel
No,
groupie.
but no. But these are people who've been at these protests before.
Yeah.
Is this guy wearing a "Make America Great" hat?
It's
It's
going to be some joke about make America do something else. Make Woolman something.
TV.
Yeah, that's the worst when you get beat up for a Make America Great hat and you're not wearing a Make America Great hat.
That's
Now, wait a
right.
minute, the cops are on the move.
Well, there's a bathroom in there, so maybe they were using the bathroom,
Both of the vans are leaving.
having deposited the cops.
Right, maybe that's the idea.
But
So Chris Christie was doing
yeah,
what?
I mean, he criticized Trump's comments at 2 a.m. this morning. He got up on ABC and said it was wrong, and that he's a U.S. attorney and he knows better than Trump that it was a wrong thing to do. Yes, there could be state court matters, but they're not necessarily federal matters yet. He should play this out. I mean, who the hell does Chris Christie think he is? I mean, he's responsible for Wray. He's responsible, I think, for Sessions.
He's responsible for the death of over 200,000 donuts.
And he was supposed to be the fair-haired, large boy of the Republican Party, and he was a failure as a presidential candidate. I would argue he was a failure as a governor. We
Wasn't
still
he
don't know
in
what.
that whole bridge gate?
Yeah, we still don't know what really happened there with that bridge gate. And New Jersey is a difficult state to get involved with. It's historically quite corrupt. There we go. There's definitely something starting here. But note the age of these people, right? These are people, the insiders here are they come with, what does it say? No united, no fascism, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. And they always have to have these stupid rhymes. And they're obviously coordinated. I think we've seen that woman before with the bike, walking down Fifth Avenue. I believe she was sort of monitoring what was going on.
Might be right.
One of the times. But it's clearly somebody got together, pre-printed those things. They didn't do it last night,
Right.
right? And they all seem to have to know each other. This is not spontaneous.
No, everybody's sitting here on the bench as part of this, Charles. You and I are kind of the only ones who weren't invited.
Right. Well, do you want to maybe, now that they're gathering, get a little bit over there to the right, or do you?
Wherever you
You're
want.
the man. You tell me what's his.
Stand over here.
Yeah. Make sure we have as much as possible pictures of those 4 or 5 people, so if people want to.
Yeah.
Now look, they're changing. This woman's changing. This is somebody coming here for the riot. Here's somebody with a staff. This one, look at what she's wearing. She's wearing some kind of it's like a ski
Yeah, just to
underwear.
stay warm, I think.
And the sunglasses are a useful thing in this type of light. You definitely want to wear sunglasses.
Well, because, anytime you're doing anything honorable, you don't want anybody to see your face or your eyes.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And here comes somebody else. Let's see if this guy's part of it. But so far, it's a pretty. I was supposed to start at 3:30. It's a pretty motley crew.
It's 3:37.
Yeah. And
Not too much of a protest so far.
what do you think? Should we?
Well, I think we should wait a little while. Do you want to go back to Bryant Park?
I'm.
Let's see what people are saying in the comments.
Right.
It's supposed to be a protest.
It's a pro-Trump rally.
I don't think so.
Wait, what?
I was just seeing how carefully you were paying attention.
Is it like scheduled for a certain time?
3:30, they were saying, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here.
Someone's saying that woman's wearing steel-toe boots.
Yes, she is. She is.
These
She's
people are here
definitely.
ready to fight.
Yeah. Do you think she's Russian?
She seems to be taking her time.
Yeah. They've clearly been here before. Somebody's clearly behind this.
This thing won't stop zooming in.
Now, if they were really professional and organized, somebody would come over to us and say, "What do you think you guys are doing here?" But they don't seem to care too much about that. I'm just looking around. They're heavily outnumbered in terms of security.
Well-
Maybe this is a feint. Maybe this is not where the.
That's what I mean. Get them to have cops over here so they can create a problem someplace else.
Right. I mean, I'm fine
Why
with.
would you announce where you were going to create
They
violence?
do that every day. And look, now they're putting out protective gear. Maybe the 3:30 was the wrong time. That it really was going to be 4 o'clock.
Well, it said 3:30. I mean, that's the thing. The last time when we went to a place a little later than what they said, they were like, "Oh yeah, that ended."
Yeah.
I was like, "Wait a minute," because I thought they would be operating on bar rock band schedule
Right.
where they say it's at 7 o'clock, so don't get there before 9:30.
So, should I go up to that woman and say, "Is this the pro-Trump rally?"
I don't think you should do that.
You don't think so? But people all seem to know one another. They obviously said we're going to get together at a specific place. That is the corner of 42nd and Park.
Yep.
The cops, I don't know what they're trying to do there. Maybe they're trying to make sure that a swarm doesn't go into Grand Central, which did happen prior to, I want to say, Just right before the pandemic started, there was a similar notice that there was going to be something to do with the subway.
Oh yeah, right. To charge the subway and get on there for free.
Right, and people were going to screw up with the turnstiles and deface them or whatever. So they came here first, and I happened to be leaving the library just when the thing got to over there, and it was a mass of humanity, a large number of people. The cops blocked the entrance to Grand Central, blocked the entrance to the subway there, and it got kind of rough. There were a lot of these type of organizers who were swarming behind the 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds, who were the cannon fodder. Were going to confront the cops and throw things at the cops. So clearly the cops are ready now. I don't see tremendous enthusiasm yet for or any kind of enthusiasm. It's kind of like a meeting of the 30th reunion of Sarah Lawrence College or something like that.
Don't forget your steel tip boots.
That's right. All these men who went to Vassar when it went to co-ed.
Okay.
Right. No fascism, no fear, because that's, America's definitely a fascist country. The nuts. The only kind of fascism I see is when you try to debate.
Let's move away from these things.
Sure. The only fascism I see is when you try to express a view different to the orthodox view of. Sure. Over here?
Well, let's just go up over here and see.
Different than the orthodox view of that's condoned by Twitter and Facebook. That's when I see fascism. That's when you get shadow banned. That's when you get kicked off. That's when you get deplatformed. That's fascism.
What about?
We're eating. Can you not?
No, you can eat somewhere else. We're doing what we're doing. You do what you're doing. Don't tell me what to do.
That's hilarious.
If it can go away is the solution to that. You're in public. You can either hold the bag up or eat someplace else. But I'm standing here. Yeah, then leave. You're in public. There's no presumption of privacy.
We're not recording you.
We're recording us. You happen to be there. You're making a bigger deal out of it by talking. I don't understand what you think is going on, but you're in public. You have no privacy in public. Stop talking to me. Charles, I hate people like that.
Yeah, I know.
Go order another sandwich. You need it.
Yeah, with some extra ketchup. Yeah. I think we're in reasonably good shape.
You tell me not to film.
Yeah.
Charles, I'm getting sick of almost everybody.
Hopefully I'm still in your good
Not
grace.
you.
Okay. So yeah, I guess the cops are wondering what this thing is over here. And that's a good point. What is that thing? Generally, I think it's a stand for delivering, for handing out brochures about the city.
Yeah.
And they are leaving.
That's hardly the most suspicious thing happening
Yeah.
around here. Yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you leave? Stupid.
Yeah, go get some more food.
Chick-fil-A,
That wasn't Chick-fil-A stuff. That was like
I think
the
she
whole
was-
buffet.
whatever. Like, what makes somebody think they have the right to tell somebody else to do out here in public?
There's no fascism, no fear.
Right. It's like, do
I'm
what
here
I
for the
say
no
or-
fascism meeting. I want to behave like a fascist.
Right. Do what we say or there's going to be violence. But we don't like fascism. And your tweet is false, but we don't have any evidence.
That's right. Actually, another thing that I would be doing, I'm not a security expert, but I would be worried about something in those newspaper
racks?
as well as the newsstands. Anything that's... we now become so inured to looking at carts like this walking through. I mean, you could put something in
Just
there.
put dynamite in that and walk around and set it off right there. But I don't think this is not like jihadi type stuff here.
Yeah.
This is just people who, this is more like, Seattle hipster jackasses who want to,
One of these
scream
people.
and fight and put on
Vote.
these yellow vest type things and walk around thinking that they are the revolution.
There's
while they
something
eat their
against-
Chick-fil-A and put on another 50 pounds.
That's Jews against fascism, that person said. Oh yeah, so these people are part of the thing over there. We were
Black guy's
correct.
Jewish. He's got a yarmulke on.
The guy, you see the guy who's furthest away from us was the guy who was standing over there. So they're definitely reconnoitering here. And now we're right in the center of it.
That's fine.
And here comes somebody with a skateboard. That's the look. Backpack, skateboard. My view about skateboards is they're fine when you're 12, you know, at 16 maybe. But if you're using a skateboard in your 20s or later,
Why don't you go ask the cops if they know what's going on, and I'll stand over here, and then they won't.
sure, you want to ask them?
Yeah, without the camera, they won't mind.
Hi there. Excuse me. What time is this protest supposed to start, do you think? 5:30. 5:30. Oh, okay.
sorry,
3:30. So, okay, thank you. Yeah, 3:30, as we thought. It's supposed to start at 3:30.
But it just looks like nothing's going to happen.
Well,
They're late
I
for
don't
their
know.
own protest, Charles.
I think a lot of these people are late for life.
Yeah.
Now this used to be, for people who know New York, this used to actually be open. This used to be, cars used to come here, and they spent a lot of money, city money,
That was fairly recently, actually.
over the
that they
course
did
of a
that.
couple of years. Yeah. And on both sides, they turned it into a
I
little.
kind of like this better.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're sitting here saying, as we walk around the city and all these broadcasts we've done, you see the homeless people, you see the people who are clearly in need of mental health help. You know, I'd rather see that and the garbage problem fixed before we start beautifying.
I have a solution.
What's that? Have the
Put
homeless people.
Prozac in the Chick-fil-A and feed it to that fat lady.
And tell her not to sing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure that anything is really going to happen here.
Well, we could go over to the, if you want, we could go over to the other place and come back. Maybe Bryant Park and come back and do a circuit, or we could just stay here. It's up to you.
No, let's see what people are saying in the comments. Well, I
We
don't
could do
know.
a Trumpian poll. What do people in the comments think we should do?
Yeah, these protesters are not for Biden or Trump. I agree with that
Yeah,
comment.
I agree with that
These
too.
people are for agitating. Jeff says that rat is still there standing against the railing. Oh yeah, there he is. So he is a little rat. Why don't I go ask him what he's
I
up
wouldn't
to?
do that. I wouldn't do that.
Soros tour buses may be stuck in traffic.
That's
Okay,
right.
people want us to leave. Dave Cohen says the bishop needs to do what's best for him. Well, I mean, if that includes totally
But
ditching
now notice
our
the
weekly
vests.
commitment
This is new, the vests.
without telling me, that's not very professional. No, the bishop did not dump Jason. Jason asked the bishop to answer a question that a viewer had posed, and he refused to do it. And when I pressed him, he failed to appear for the show.
No. Well, here's one guy who got here for the protest and is leaving.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem like a very punctual protest, Charles.
Right. Well, what do you figure? Go back over to.
Well, let's get on the move and see what's going back over there.
All
and
right.
If we run into anything on the way.
There's a television camera.
Right, I mean, everybody knows about this.
There must be neither fascism nor fear
I
because
mean,
there's
there's
nobody
a lot
here
of cops wearing riot gear.
expecting trouble. Well, when you post on protest_NYC that there's going to be a protest at 3:30.
I feel like it's the perfect way to just deflect them to waste their resources.
Yeah, if I were an agitator, what I would do is I would go up to Trump Tower.
Right. Do you want to head up there and see what's going on there?
We could.
It's a little far.
We also could go over to Fox News, which is not very far away at all.
It was super boarded up the last time I walked
Is that
by.
what we could stand there and see who goes in and goes out? But let's go over to Bryant Park and see. There was supposed to be another protest there. This Schwab branch has been closed since March 16th. It's not open to.
Why do they need these walk-in branches?
People like me, older people, like to go in and talk to the. If you have a specific question, talk to a real human being in America, as opposed to somebody in the
Right,
Philippines.
some call center,
You know.
right.
And it can be kind of a routine. You want to regularly drop money in there, you stop by. You can't do that.
You know, Charles, that little encounter we just had with the people who want their privacy out in public is a good example of how people arrive at these ridiculous notions of what they think they have the right to, and the lengths they're willing to go to try to convince you that, you know, they need free money or free health care.
Well, it's a testament to the quality of our educational system.
Right.
I'm in public. I don't like what you're doing in public. You need to follow my rules.
Right.
You know.
Like, just get up and walk away, or get over it.
Or why are you eating food at 3:30 at 3:45?
Well, they're free to do that. I don't mind. They can do whatever they want, but I'm doing what I'm doing, and just the idea that I'm in public and I have the right to privacy is so strange to me that they would think that.
Right. NASEC. I wonder what that stands for.
So,
again, it's calm before the storm. Not many people out.
well, because it sort of feels like nothing, the catalyst hasn't hit yet,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Someone's going to say or do something, like Joe Biden will announce that he's the president, or Trump will announce that they're doing something, and then everybody will go crazy.
Well, it's supposedly at 7 p.m. tonight there's going to be also a protest in Washington Square Park. But,
That's basically guaranteed head splitting.
oh yeah.
Whoops. So, more wood over here.
Yeah, this is prime. This is 42nd and 5th. We are open. That's
Their
good to
own
know.
graffiti, yeah, that says we are open.
That's really good to know. Come on here. It's like before long we'll have stores that are open that have no merchandise in them.
Right.
But we're open. Plywood.
Man.
There's more plywood on the street here than I remember. Oh, here we go. Here's a protest.
Okay.
Maybe that's they didn't get the message. What is that? Maybe. Would you like to go to the real protest? Because we know where it is. A lot of people, actually. What does it say? Count every vote.
Well, those are already printed up, huh?
Yeah. I'd love to take a page out of their playbook, but I'd want to have about 3 football teams worth of big guys protecting me. And I'd take a megaphone that's more powerful. Let's go so we can
Fight what?
count every vote, I think. Fight for every vote.
There's the ACLU of New York. What are they doing?
We could stand. Fight for socialism.
Socialism.
Now,
They want socialism. Obviously, we know
because
that.
it works so well in Venezuela.
I mean, that's just amazing that they have a sign there that says "Fight for Socialism."
What does it say? My vote will count. Now, this is in a state where Republicans are disenfranchised in this state. What is that, FDT?
What does that mean?
There's a cardboard sign over there. You see it? On the other side, it says FDT,
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
which I think means
Like
something.
FTP, F Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah. Medicare for all.
Right.
As we face a global pandemic, as we've seen the response by the Trump administration, as I mentioned. But I think it's also important that we note that not too long ago, our Governor Cuomo, actually decided that he was going to cut $400 million from the public healthcare system. So Paul's going to get boo! Right? Boo, Cuomo. We don't like him. So give it up for Paul. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out today.
I'm a member of the stupid socialists.
Fight for socialism. I can't believe it.
Somebody on an electric scooter, saying fist up in the air for this. This case is so stupid. I mean, there's barely a case here. To blame 230,000 deaths where we haven't really figured out the comorbidities on anybody is absurd. Now,
people believe it though. I see friends, former friends.
And you see they're passing out these vests. They seem to have a bunch of them. It seems to be the uniform, the new uniform. See that over there? And I think this protest didn't know about the other protest, or the other protest doesn't know about this protest, but it's supposed to be the same thing.
Is this the one they consider to be in Bryant Park?
Well, that is technically part of Bryant Park.
But this is really, I would call this the library.
Yeah, well, details. The socialist state of Venezuela I would call fascism and economic illiteracy. This is really distressing, and I look at this and I say, they're probably not going to succeed this year with this, but there'll come a time, it might be 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years, whatever, when this sort of a completely uneducated approach is going to sway the masses. At the moment, with the stock prices where they are and credit available and jobs plentiful, people aren't falling for this stuff here eventually, but if we had a crack in the market, and if we go through now with booting people out on the street who haven't paid their rent because there's only a temporary cessation of the requirement to pay rent, you can start seeing a lot of people coming to the streets and falling for this. I mean, count every vote. Why don't you go talk to the people in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin about that? I mean, how much have we paid the elections commissions in these states and some can't seem to count every vote correctly? And you're out here in New York where there's no question who won New York.
But I mean, isn't that so obvious that they already have all these count every vote signs? They always come with a mantra. Who's that cop with the suit on there, Charles?
I don't know. Count every vote.
Right? Like that guy seems like somebody in charge.
It's like Chris Christie's weight coach. In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist, a fascist America.
Tiger campaign saying that he would veto Medicare for all. And what do they do?
He certainly seems to think he's safe.
He's got all his cops.
The ACLU comes here to defend in case some of the protesters get arrested. They then jump into the fray to in theory, represent
They can get beaten up as well.
Yeah, I don't know that. I hope it doesn't turn to violence, but out of their playbook, one step would be to instigate violence and blame it on the Trumpsters.
Right. I think tonight there'll be violence for sure.
You see, and there are these guys on the bikes with the black helmets.
Yeah.
And the batons, what are those batons for? I guess those are to hit you?
Who's got
So maybe those are the people who are going to start the trouble.
I don't see a baton. Who has a baton?
See, in his left hand?
This guy who's got a stick of some kind?
Yeah. I think it's a metal, like, thing you can use to defend yourself. I might have it
Why
wrong.
is he allowed to walk around with that? Just looks like some kind of stick.
Got the donuts.
Yeah, I mean,
How many
Charles,
did you
when
want?
you absolutely need a stupid delivery same day,
Right.
you know who to call. RDS.
That's right. Tucker should have used them. Remember when his stuff went
You
missing?
want to deliver fake lawsuits to the courthouse, you can use that.
Now, what we could, if you're up for it, we could go. There's another camera over there.
Sure.
See on the edge there? And I think if we went over there, we'd probably be safe. And maybe we get a little bit more visibility into what these people are saying. It's up to you, though.
I'm happy to go over there. I disagree with the assessment that will be more safe over there, but I don't mind.
No KKK? How do you
Hey,
get...
look, there's Revolution, whatever.
Where?
That thing, I can never remember the name
Oh,
of.
Extinction Rebellion?
Yeah. What is it that they're afraid of being extinct? Us from climate change? Is that their
I don't know. This is so controversial to say count every vote. And here we go. We got the signs. You want a sign? Somebody in a limousine. A big megaphone.
So they're noticing us,
Who are?
these people standing right here.
That's fine. Got my hair. I hate this. Hey, hey. Oh, yeah. You mean the Extinction Rebellion up there?
Yeah.
Light green. And here come some more protesters. They're swarming in now behind us. These are the ones we're over at the other place. So let's just move to the back here a little bit.
Show up, make more room towards the stairs.
Let's get to a place where it's difficult. I think it'd be difficult to get behind us. You see, there are a whole bunch of them over there. Right there, with the vests, and then the bikes. I'm making these points in the hopes that if there are any members of law enforcement watching this, that they'll be grateful that we've taken pictures of all this. Capitalism's crises pummel millennials and Gen Z. There's the cowbell.
You're gonna want more cowbell.
Yeah, full cowbell.
So this guy with the cigarette has been eyeballing us.
That's fine. He's got his mask off, so you've got a nice picture of him. Look, this is not a dead giveaway to dress up like that. Oh yeah, I'm 15 years old, but I want to pretend I'm 18.
Yeah, I don't know, Charles. They could be painting a target on us.
Well, we're in pretty good shape. I mean, we got... Now here come more cops, by the way. See, and we've got... I think are there people coming from that direction? Now look, this guy can't be more than 14 years old. Well, we are standing next to a whole bunch of people with cameras, so, or we were anyway. 1, 2, us.
Well, what could possibly go wrong?
Sorry. But if we stay, like, if you're like close to here, then it's going to be
Hey,
tough.
Charles, you see this thing hanging down my back?
This?
Yeah, just throw it over my right shoulder. This headphone fell out. Just this
It's
part.
oh, sorry, here.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Here's Cicero speaking.
Cicero?
I'm just saying, New York communities change.
Yeah.
This is just, I mean, obviously
What does the
orchestra.
NYCLU do here?
We have protest monitor volunteers here.
What do you guys monitor for?
Police activity and protest.
Hi, is that the Virtual Signaling Association? What is that? American Civil Liberties Union. We don't want, say, anybody who has a different point of view to express that view. We love cancel culture. This is so, note to the rabble rousers. It's kind of a dead giveaway every time the signs are in orange and black in the same font, that somebody has decided that you're going to stamp these signs out. And
This lawyer guy we've seen before.
the guy in the light green hat? Yeah. But this is not as spontaneous. Man, that guy's, was probably 40 in the 60s. It's Rise and Resist, the guy in the orange there. we've seen this guy before. Scruffy with a mask, always a great look. Has anybody in the comments noticed yet whether Biden has announced?
Let's check.
Because it could be quite interesting if the announcement is immediately followed by an increase in rebel activity here.
Biden's commit foot soldiers of agitation and aggravation, instigators of chaos. I don't know if people know.
But
It's to beat all of them and throw them in Gitmo, Sophie says.
Wait, it's that this old guy, old coot with the orange vest and the backpack, and the other guy with the big megaphone and the bike. I mean, it's clear that they're part of some sort of organization. These people passing out the brochures.
Quest for Truth says color revolution that Soros and controllers beta tested in Ukraine happening now.
That's it. I agree with that. I agree with that. So I wonder which way they're going to go. Here comes, what does this say? Oh, this is Fiera Ya, whatever that means.
I don't know.
Fight now, or so. Trump pants out now.
Fire now, I guess. Yeah, fuera.
Here's every vote counts. The librarians for fascism gotten together here.
Is there anyone suggesting that some votes don't count? I don't know.
Yeah, those would be the Trump supporter votes. Those don't count. But actually, so far, I don't see it as being all that intimidating. Oh, here's Naked Cowboy.
What's he doing over
I'm not
there?
giving him another 20 today. But there he is.
Man, that guy really is all over the place. I thought he only ever hangs out in,
Well, he goes where the action is.
I guess so.
Climate SOS.
I mean, don't you think it would be cold to be standing here in your underwear? I'm a little cold with the jacket.
For me, it would be embarrassing. But
Hey,
and
Naked
cold.
Cowboy, what'd you think of the election last night?
Well, I went to bed at 9 a.m., 9 p.m. I don't want to stress myself out. I figured it all out. So. And I guess it's kind of a contentious, who knows?
Right.
I'm going to fight till the end, and I have Harris and Biden stickers.
Oh, no.
If we lose, I'll stick up for the next president.
Oh,
I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one. I do my best.
Well, stay
I
safe.
got to stand up for somebody.
You're going the wrong way if you go over
No,
there.
I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. You know why?
Why?
Because I own this place.
there
All
you
right,
go.
there you go.
All right.
I'm a
Thanks,
Trumpster.
Naked
I'm
Cowboy.
winning.
Winning
I
it.
don't care.
All right.
Why don't you follow me?
We're
Why don't you get
shooting.
some nice media.
We'll see you.
Take care, Naked Cowboy.
Trump's taking, hey, you gotta get the Trump song too. Trump's taking those regulations off the backs of those corporations. I am like God. Trump's going to build a wall. That wall.
Charles, I don't understand how the Naked Cowboy doesn't have pneumonia by now.
I know.
I'm discovering a love affair.
He's pretty. I'm amazed he doesn't get arrested.
For being that disrobed?
Yeah, I mean,
That's a good point. Why is he allowed to do that?
He leaves little to the leaves little to the imagination there, but and there was quite a smell of mouthwash or something as well.
He sounded a little bit like he might be slurring his words, but how could he be drunk during the day and not physically fit?
Let's see. Now they're.
That girl was just recording us.
What was she doing?
Video recording us with her phone as she walked by and trying to be surreptitious.
You see, here are the guys with the bikes.
Right, I mean, we could be getting painted right now, Charles.
They're what?
Targeted for attack once this all breaks down. Here's riders to rights.
Yeah, but let's see the guys yelling more loudly. Where's Naked Cowboy? Is he disappeared?
He went into the crowd. That's like
Something is. No, but some of these cameras are getting more aggressive.
the cameras are or the protesters are.
Here's somebody with the red flag. don't think that's a Trump red.
That raises a red flag, Charles.
That's
It's getting
a...
colder. That's the Socialists of America, Democratic Socialists of America flag.
Yeah, that's really smart. Here come liberate the camps. Electoral college must go. This is the Duma wing. Arrest Trump. Where are these people all coming out of nowhere? With a skateboard, so you use that to hit people. Fuck white what?
Supremacy, maybe?
Supremacy, yeah.
That dog looks like he doesn't want to be here.
Yeah. Let's see what this has to say. Let's see, get one of these folders. I'll get it. Excuse me, can I have one of them? Ma'am? Can I have one of those? Thank you.
I'm sorry, my fingers not hurt.
Thanks. What is this guy doing? Anti-Racist Workers Assembly, Saturday, November 7th at 1 p.m. Today, this is post-election protest for a people's mandate. Woo. Workers Assembly Against Racism. I wonder how many of these people actually work.
Exactly.
Should be non-workers assembly.
Well, I don't know, Charles.
Still, until more and more people are showing up. And here's some bikes of all kinds and vests of all colors.
The dog might be the smartest person here.
Right. A naked cowboy's right up there.
Oh, wow, he got right,
Right
up to
in the center with his Trump hat. That's pretty bold.
I think he might have been drinking this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops.
For people who have not read Paul Kengor's, I think it's Paul Kengor's book, Dupes, this is a perfect case in point of what that book talks about, how revolutions attract the very gullible, encourage them to be the cannon fodder on the front lines.
Whoa.
And then when the revolution, if it happens, these people will be the first to be killed, these gullible ones. And I mean, to say that this is less than awe-inspiring is something else. It is actually, at this point, quite a few people. I'd say maybe it's, what would you say, 300? 300?
Maybe more.
And it's actually, I suppose, a testament to the strength of this country that you can, in fact, get a bunch of dolts together and stand on the street with these flags. The Democratic Socialists of America, what do they stand for?
Socialism.
No, I don't think it's just socialism. I think it's complete intolerance of anybody who doesn't accept their views. They want to destroy capitalism.
It's the SDS. It's the
Right.
Weather Underground.
They want to, here's a guy with an indoor pistol shooting star. He doesn't have a gun in that bag. They do seem to be coming in, still coming in.
I don't know, is there anything really in particular expected to happen?
I didn't catch that, Jason, because you're talking.
Anything in particular expected to happen? So these people in the vests seem to be a different squad of some kind.
Well, there are different types of vests. There's John.
Right.
He's the social studies teacher, probably collecting a $200,000 pension from Merrimack High School. Bringing his 6th grade class out here to demonstrate. Here's ACLU lawyer back. vote.
Something really strange about, instructing people to use their voices by voting while your mouth is covered with the message.
Right. And here's Sing in Solidarity.
I'm good. You want a copy of this?
Of the song? Yes, I would. I do.
Donald.
Wow.
Wow, what?
I mean, just that there would be so many ignoramuses who would sign up for this. Here's the second Biden-Harris sign I've seen, or Biden-Harris shirt.
Well, let's maybe go to another location and see what's going on down there. Or, I don't know.
As you wish. I think if we're going to go that way, we should cross the street and go.
Okay, yeah. Because this is sort of, we're just stagnant here. All right,
Well, I suppose we could go this way.
Singing.
They're singing "God Bless
Got to
America."
be the cowboy leading that. Doesn't seem
They're
like-
singing "God Bless America."
Yeah, that's a strange song.
Let's cross.
Sure. Wow, look at this woman who's shooting like silver.
We can go over there, maybe.
Plate photography.
Well, a lot of motorcycles there lined up.
Yeah.
Defend democracy. By how? Tearing it down? Amazing Grace.
Who is selecting the songs?
These are unusual songs for a protest.
Right.
Abolish capitalism.
Yeah, I saw that over there. Probably printed that song on her MacBook Pro. I printed the sign.
That is a weird camera there. What is that thing?
That's a plate. You're gonna have like I forget what the chemical stuff is, but they have glass plates in there. And it's like very old school, super high resolution, unique kind of look. If it's what I believe it is.
I suppose one thing we could consider doing is going up behind them and looking at it the other way if you want. I mean, you could do that by going around that way and up.
Sure, let's try it.
So if we just go.
We'll just keep moving around this thing and see what's going on.
A lot of cops.
Yep.
I haven't seen yet the catalyst. I mean, I think they're trying to lay the groundwork that it's largely peaceful, and then once they have enough people there, they're going to provoke some kind of incident and hope that it turns into, policemen beating up protesters.
Yeah, and then they try to get
People
the
and
cops
nature
arrested.
before profits. Okay, I know a place where you can do that. It's called the interior of Africa,
Yeah.
which I actually like Africa, but I'm against water. Oh, this is the Communist Party.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing that anybody would be supporting the Communist Party in 2020.
Yeah, I know. It's disconcerting, Charles. There's a real sense of unease,
Yeah.
is what I'm feeling.
There's a real sense of nonsense. Where is that person speaking? Let's just go over here a little bit.
Every vote to be counted. If Biden wins, we know that it was a fair presidential election.
Where is this
and
person
we want
speaking?
that every vote, everyone who voted, whether it was absentee ballot, whether it was in person,
Sounds like
early
it's
voters, we want all the votes to be counted once or twice, but we know that it was a fair and clean election. Thank you.
How do we know that?
I think it's up. She's up
All right,
there.
listen up, everybody. Listen up.
Oh, that guy's just got the speaker in his bike.
Protect the Results Coalition. Go to bit.ly.
Everything's a coalition. Sounds better, right?
Nonviolent peaceful demonstrations. What do we do with
Yeah,
evidence?
it's Extinction
We
Revolution,
ignore them.
it's all that.
Tonight, we are going to project confidence because we are together. We are together. We demand every vote is counted. And we have confidence that when every vote is counted, the will of the people will be done. The will of the people will be done. All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out here. We're going to step off here in just a moment. But I got a word from, I think, the Raging Grammys. You guys going to sing a song for us, a quick song? Yes, no? You ready? Yeah?
It's really count every vote. Look at this. I mean, this disturbingly looks a bit like a Nazi symbol. I mean, that's Extinction Rebellion.
It's a sigil. I mean, it's a very weird.
Okay, let's start.
Oh my God. I don't know. I can take much more of this. Let's go down this way, and we'll go over to. Let's go over to Fox. And see what that's like. Maybe even go up to Trump Tower.
Yeah.
Taylor.
I tell you, Charles.
I think they should call this the Coalition of Losers. I mean, honestly. I'm reminded back, I think I've told you before about this, and our viewers a couple of years ago, about when the Soviet Union fell finally, or the Berlin Wall fell, or shortly thereafter. There was a radio program on the weekend where these CCNY, City College of New York, which is a great institution, professors debating with these Russians whether communism was a failed system or not. And the Americans were saying, oh, no, communism really works very, very well. And the Russians are saying, no, it doesn't. Not in the slightest.
Those Cubans, they say the same thing.
Yeah.
What's going on right here?
I don't know. Construction coalition. I would lean. That
Yeah, I don't
looks
know.
like a
That's-
bomb thing.
That guy was up to something.
Yeah.
So the communists, they knew.
Yeah, I mean they knew, and these boneheads. If you're making, let's say, a decent salary as a professor, you got tenure, so you can't be fired, and you go to conference after conference around the world, and everybody refers to you as the distinguished professor of nonsense, and you give a nonsensical presentation, and everybody claps you on the back and meets you at the bar.
Right.
And then you stay up all night swapping tall tales, and then you go to your next conference. I mean, that mentality, after a number of decades of doing that, you think that you're never going to be held to account, and your theories get wackier and wackier. And of course, all the college students, they want to get an A, particularly those of them that are, we've got student loans to pay and they need to get a job. They'll many of them will do whatever it takes to get that A. And so there's no real contest of ideas anymore on the college campuses the way there should be. Right. And that we would be in a place where you could have so many of those people hanging around honestly believing this balderdash. There's another bunch of them. What's this? Sure. Well, this is something else, I think. Well, every vote counts, but what's this flag?
Guys wearing a Lamborghini hat to an abolish capitalism protest.
Let's walk this way if we can. A lot of them, and so they're getting more and more crowded. Save our election, save democracy. Save our chances. This guy's going backwards. Grooving in a wheelchair backwards.
That's really, I don't understand that.
This is the Big Apple.
Yeah.
Which I think we should refer to it henceforth as the drunken apple, or the on-weed apple.
It's the cord apple.
Exactly. So what do you think's going to happen, Jason? Do you think that that's going to turn into a violent
I am very
protest?
concerned, Charles. I don't know what's going to happen.
There certainly seem to be a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, and up, maybe 70s, herding the gullible to just stand there. I mean, how can you get, if your firebrand issues, you want to make sure you count every vote. You don't have much of you don't have a firebrand issue. I mean, that's like saying 24 hours in each day.
All right, I'll concede.
All right, let's tear the system down. You know.
Okay, we'll count the votes.
Or why not? I mean, it's a fair point if you want to have a real set of issues, right? You say that they're systematically racist. Why are we systematically racist? Because we work when it's white out and we sleep when it's black out. It should be the reverse. We should be working at night and sleeping during the day.
How are we?
Good, how are you? What was that for?
I don't know. I was trying to see.
Yeah, see, we'll go up this way. And I guess Trump is what? He's all the way up on
55th?
6th, 7th even.
Something like
6th.
that. Yeah, right, 57.
Do we have enough battery power?
Yeah, we're at about 53%.
Okay.
I think it's the magic setting of how bright the thing is. So, Charles, a lot of our viewers and I was very disappointed to learn that Laura did not succeed in her bid.
Yeah, just shows you how rigged it is.
Well, I mean, but they kept her off of Twitter. They kept her off of Facebook. There's so much control that they have in those things.
Some serious weed.
Yeah. To boost stories that they like and suppress stories that they don't like. I mean, Mike Moore was right on top of whatever it is that's going on in Pennsylvania, and within minutes they shut it down from Twitter and then slammed my YouTube channel right after that.
Look at that, it shut that street down.
Why do you suppose that is?
Well, I think for this to keep
into Times Square?
Yeah. Well, they're talking about there's another riot over on 41st Street, the far west side.
Oh, that's just all the way.
We don't
on
want to
the
go over
west
there,
side,
yeah. I figure what we can do is we can go up to Trump, see if anything's going on, then just walk down 5th.
It's UBS, Charles.
Well, that's one of the many UBS offices.
I forgot to call Brad Birkenfeld.
Yeah.
Speaking of UBS.
Well, we don't want to say the person's name, but we have a major league get in a whistleblower going to join us in coming weeks, subject to that person's availability schedule, but very interested to come forward. And it's somebody with whom I believe I can share a lot of information. This is somebody who knows a lot about the Clinton Foundation, who tried to blow the whistle on something, and of course, what did the FBI do? Oh, let's arrest you. You got information that's damaging to the FBI? Oh, we're going to arrest you.
But that's what happened to Birkenfeld also. They stuck him in jail.
Well, that's why I bring it up.
And then they had Scott Bennett put out stories that Birkenfeld said were not true.
Yeah. You know, I was going to say, I got cut off on the thought that there's more plywood up now
Yeah.
than there was back in the 80s when there was a theory that a hurricane was going to come in and push 40 feet of water over Manhattan.
Wait, we just lost sound again. That's weird.
That tends to happen right around here.
We lost it in a way that we haven't lost it before.
Got it back? I'm just going to check. Oh, here.
Check 1, 2. Yeah, we got it back.
Good. Just got a call from from Russia.
Really?
Yeah.
How was plywood supposed to help with a flooding of a hurricane?
I don't know that it does, but
Dr. Fauci came up with that plan?
well, I think with high winds, what you do it's less likely that you shatter the glass is the theory, but I don't know that that's true. Yeah, Dr. Fauci, what an idiot! This whole, well, the whole way in which, frankly, I think Trump bears some blame for this, and I think we were early on criticizing him for both you and I for different reasons. That when we went from being a society where different opinions are relished, and out of the diverse opinions we may come up with a genius solution, to one in which one gnome expert, the size of a lawn gnome,
The lone gnome?
right? Yeah, suddenly is telling 7.5 billion people how each of us should live our lives based on no personal knowledge of any patient. We shouldn't have allowed ourselves to fall victim to that. By the way, in the press just now, there's a story that the man who won the Nobel Prize, I think it was the Nobel Peace Prize, who's currently the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, is about to launch a vicious war against the Tigray portion of Ethiopia.
Well, that's Tedros's party.
I know.
So why are they doing that?
Well, there's long been, in Ethiopia, there's long been this tension, I mean, not more than tension, profound, centuries-based rivalries of different ethnic groups in the country. And
Charles, look at that.
well, you have to stop there, and then you go to the protest. Get your fake, you have a fake protest smoking fake weed.
Lollipops.
And when you think you have the munchies, you go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is really
a lot of them there.
expanding, right?
Yeah. I remember when the first one came in, it was a number of years ago. Subway. We can cross, I think. Well, they're really getting ready to shut this core down with these different,
Yeah.
should anything happen. And I'm glad they are. But I mean,
Those strange times,
well,
Charles.
when we go through and we compare what the city looked like in March to what it looks like now, or November 2019 to November 2020, how do you say that this is progress? I mean, this is the opposite of progress. This is an idiot here. Excuse me.
This is the worst condition the city has ever been in my experience.
It really is. And this is before, and I hope it doesn't happen obviously, but this is before our enemies, foreign enemies, decide to take advantage of this.
Right. Well, I mean, didn't they say that this was going to be, I guess they're talking about from yesterday until inauguration, 79 days of whatever?
Well, they think they can just threaten.
Yeah, this is Fox right here.
Right, I know.
Covered.
Well, as they should be. Their studios are right here.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite song?
I think so. I can't hear it over the noise.
Yeah, I'm amazed they don't have concrete barriers on the curb. Somebody could just come in at high speed,
Well, they have these planters.
but not to stop this.
Well, The sound is going away again. No, it's back.
Fox News decision desk should challenger
Joe Biden is leading.
248 votes now.
Whoa.
214. See, they're trying to sell it as inevitable. I mean, that's 248. All it needs is 22. Not 33, Jason.
Right. So sound keeps cutting out here. Okay. Well, Charles, I mean, we're being slowly walked. That just said 63 degrees. It feels much cooler than that for some reason.
Well, I think when the wind, when you get a wind gust, but 63 is about right. 64. We're causing global warming.
Yes,
actually, when I looked at it about 2 minutes ago, it said 61.
Well, we only have 12 minutes to live. We better spend $100 trillion on electric, whatever. You know what also occurred to me about all this Green New Deal stuff? I watch a lot of these channels analyzing Tesla and what's the new cars and the AI stuff they're doing. And this one guy broke down all the minerals in the Tesla battery.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
And talking about what you have to do to get
ready.
Cobalt and different things. And he's saying that the mining and the things that they're doing in these countries, these rare earth minerals, are terrible for the environment, terrible for the rights of people in those countries. And everybody who wants green, they hear an idea, and if it sounds appealing, they like it. They don't ever want to study anything with any depth.
Of course not.
Magnolia's all covered up.
Everything's covered up.
Yeah.
And they really must be expecting something profound, maybe
All
later
out
on.
riot.
Later on, you know, as it gets dark and ugly.
Is Radio City covered in wood? I think it is.
Yeah, we are back to the traffic levels of long ago, right? I mean, this is unusual.
Yeah, it's been building over the days and weeks, you know. Definitely vehicle traffic.
Well, it's foot traffic. I mean, this
But that's not what it would be like at 6 o'clock on this stretch of the street on a Wednesday.
436. I mean,
Oh, is it 436?
yeah,
Oh, you're right.
I mean,
this would be 1 million people leaving their
Right.
offices normally.
right. People either some people who can leave early, leaving early, people rushing around to appointments, people getting ready to go.
Look
Yeah.
at Radio City, Charles. It looks terrible.
It does. It does indeed. You want to go that way, so we go,
Sure. Yeah.
or does that cut out in there?
I don't think so.
Warby Parker, because the first thing people are going to do is smash up an eyeglass store.
I guess they'll just smash anything is the idea. Dog looks sad.
If you look up like this, if you look up like
Oh, that's a canine.
Security.
Yeah.
Yeah, this RCA looks a little bit like it's well past its prime, but of course it's probably landmarked. Can't change the facade, I would guess. What do you say, Jason?
I like Radio City Music Hall.
I do too, but I mean it's kind of drab at this point. And all these storefronts are now
Yeah.
covered up.
It smells freshly painted. Why did they bother to paint it?
Look, it's all covered up.
Hey, don't you find that weird that they painted it? I guess to make it the same color as the building, but what the hell difference does that make?
Yeah. This is the when you go into the studio, I think this is where you go.
Well, we did an event up at the Rainbow Room one time. I think I told you.
Comcast.
Right, well they own it now, but this was way back in the day. Did a 3D video for Unisys.
Rainbow Room's nice. That Rainbow Room entrance though is over around the corner. But the That's the entrance. That's how you get into the. At least when I did To Tell the Truth, that's where I went in when I would do a lot of CNBC shots.
Classic New York stuff, Charles.
Yeah, I know.
And now it's covered in wood.
I know. Next thing you know, we'll start having, when it gets cold, it would not shock me to see homeless people rip this wood down and start fires to stay warm.
I mean, it's just creating a total sense of being oppressed, shut down, clamped down, closed in, can't go places, can't do things.
Right. There are more police. Now, this is
Don't film me here.
That was amazing. Probably that person was, a superstar in Spain or something.
I don't think so.
Obvious. All right. You want to go that way, or so we don't?
Let's just take a look at what's going on down in the ice rink.
Okay.
Do they? I think somebody said they do, but I had never noticed the ice skating rink in Bryant Park before. Do they always have that?
Absolutely. Yeah, they've done that for a number of years now. This is not ready.
Whoa.
It's not warm. It's too warm.
They have it in Bryant Park.
Right, but when they put this one in, it's a production, as you can see.
Isn't that the Sea Grill over there? I guess it's totally closed. Maybe it's over here. There's some fancy fish restaurant around here.
Yeah, I've been there.
Well, that's a pretty empty
this is called
Rockefeller Plaza, Charles.
Yeah, cancel culture. They canceled retailing. And why would you come to the city as a tourist?
To break stuff and fight with the police.
Right.
It's a different type of tourism.
That's right. Dumbo tourism. So what do we think? Do you think there are going to be any hostile protesters to Trump over at Trump Tower?
All the energy was down there at the library. It was making me feel very bad to be over there.
Yeah.
Like those people looking at us and taking our picture. And I mean, they know who I am for sure.
Well, probably know who I am too.
Probably know who you are as well.
But so what?
Well, there have been social engineers who've been putting out false statements that are, in my view, clearly aimed at, fomenting hatred and getting people to do things. I don't know if they have the reach to actually get to anybody, but...
Well, one thing I would notice that there were no helicopters above that event. So maybe they're waiting until it gets just a little bit darker.
Nape the area?
No. The protesters can then riot when it's darker, so it's tough to figure out who everyone is. Here's "Make Every Vote Count" or whatever sign.
Where do you see that?
Right ahead of us. Count every vote, or what's that song? Climb every mountain.
I don't know that song.
That's from The Sound of Music. The hills are alive with the sound of music.
I know that.
Yeah.
What's her name? Julie Andrews?
I think that was a good movie, actually.
It's one of the most famous movies ever.
Yeah. Cops everywhere. Customers nowhere. Let's see.
Right.
Cops everywhere.
Yeah, all these people who are so hot for socialism, Charles, it's going to be interesting what happens when this goes on for a year or two and there's just no production, no money.
And when they lose their jobs, their savings.
It's really bad.
Well, I'm delighted actually to see this many cops out, frankly.
Yeah, we don't want them texting inside. They at least can be watching YouTube and checking Twitter right out here.
That's right, hooking up on Tinder. Maybe we cross or not? Well, we got it?
Sure.
Again, a lot of cardboard. And this is 51, yeah. Giving people a little panoramic tour of Manhattan.
It's about to become the witching hour, Charles.
Yeah, did you see the whole bunch of witches got together and whatever they do? I don't know.
Put a hex.
Yeah, to put a hex on Trump.
I think I did see that.
So here we go. These are the high-end jewelry stores. H. Stern.
I'm surprised they didn't bedazzle the wood.
What's Furla? Isn't Furla expensive lingerie or something?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Okay. All right, I'll buy that. Here we go, Versace. You know that.
Yeah.
Of course, they have to have a door with a fancy hinge. And Cartier.
Somebody murdered Johnny Versace.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a movie about it.
Yeah. I never have understood Versace clothing.
I think it's ugly stuff.
I do. That too. It's like
Super gaudy, giant.
yeah, gold crap, fake gold crap all over it, and
Yeah.
swirling colors. It's like I've never had LSD, but it's like you take LSD and then look at
Go
a
shopping at Versace.
no, look at a collection of curtains in a bad motel, and then throw some gold on it, gold laminate, and then charge somebody $10,000.
$10,000.
You know.
Yeah. There's a real feeling of tension.
There is. And then you see there's another non-undercover cop, undercover.
Whoops. Well, I guess they still have undercover vehicles, but are the cops in them not plain clothes might be the distinguishing
Yeah.
factor.
Let's see. So there supposedly are gigantic gravel dump trucks in front of Trump Tower tonight. We'll see if that's true or not.
I think I have seen those.
sometimes-
Trump's not even in there, though, is he?
Yeah, well, I think any anarchist would try to make a statement by blowing up a Trump asset.
Right.
This would be the idea. But to me, I know you've been ahead of me on being skeptical about Barr, but what I don't get with Trump is why, well before now, he wouldn't have figured out that George Soros is a
Right.
prime funder of all this crap.
I mean, why didn't they start arresting him 2 years ago?
Yeah, or January 21st, 2017.
Right, just go arrest him today and say this guy's fine. I mean, it's kind of too late. They're all activated already.
Right.
They could have just said, hey, you know what? When we said that Antifa was a terrorist organization, these guys are funding it, seizing their assets. I think maybe it's because he's never actually controlled the Department of Justice. You know,
Yeah.
perhaps he's been fooled by Barr and somebody convinced him Barr was his buddy, and by controlling or creating the perception that he was somehow controlling or mitigating the Mueller deal,
Yeah.
you know, perhaps he thought Barr was his friend.
Well, here we have even more plywood. Plywood over the Microsoft store. Life of me, I never understood why Microsoft had a store here, but
Well, it's because Apple has stores and Microsoft
But
is not really able to innovate. They just copy things.
does Microsoft, they don't sell computer terminals, do they?
They do.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Surface,
Surface, okay.
laptops, and I think they have a desktop Surface as well, like a giant screen, touchscreen thing.
Careful. What is this place? Stuart Weitzman.
Who's coming out shopping today?
For anything.
Right. Uh-oh.
Careful.
Getting close to out of data on the phone.
Are you?
That's all right. It's,
Well, we can stop at Trump Tower.
no. It's enough for today, but I'll have to rejuice that other card.
There's the University Club. Which is, have you ever been in there?
I don't think
It has
so.
one of the most beautiful libraries and dining rooms in the city, and it's really spectacular.
Charles, a lot of people who say, oh, you know, you should do all these videos for free and put them on YouTube for free. Those people who want to discourage honest people from becoming sponsors on patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. They don't know about how many SIM cards I have to
Well,
keep
I'd say,
full.
Jason, after the people who urge you to do all this stuff for free give away all their assets,
Right,
then we can have a real sit down with them.
exactly.
I think you should give me all your shit.
Well, it's the same people who are protesting outside the library, of course. But, I mean, that's just it. This whole business came about as a result of social engineering. They spent months
We might have
on the
to-
news, and at first it seemed somewhat harmless, telling everybody, oh yeah, Joe Biden is up
I
10%.
have a funny feeling we can't go there. Maybe we have to go.
That's a really amazing situation that we can't even walk there just because of...
I'm fine with that, actually.
Well, I mean, again, it's just more restriction on where we can and can't go. But yeah,
We
can't
just go
there.
this way and I think we can go across. They just don't want you next to the building, probably unless you work there. Busca tormentas.
Is that storm chasers?
Is it?
I don't know what busca means, but tormentas is storms.
I don't know. There's some soaking wet trust fund radicals.
Why would they have a storm chaser thing here?
I don't know. Go ahead.
What does busca tormentas mean?
Busca tormenta. For the weather.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Am I on the right side of you or the wrong side of you? Sorry.
But tormentas is storms, so it's not weather. I don't know. Something. People probably in the chat will know what that means.
Yeah, look at
There's
this.
a ton of cops here, Charles. They must know something we don't know.
Well, I'm happy. Watch it. Jason, watch it.
Yep.
I don't see any big gravel truck things. Do you?
Count every vote. Yeah.
People are saying there's no big piles of bricks. I have not seen any piles of bricks anywhere.
Supposedly in Soho were reports
I just
of
heard
some.
that rumor. I do not. That's rumored.
Roommates? Yeah, there they are. Where's
Yeah, the
dump truck?
trucks I've seen,
Yeah.
but the piles of bricks I haven't seen.
What's it? I think we may not even be able to go. Let's go this way. And
Okay, that makes sense. And then someone recognized that guy as Lonnie the weatherman. Maybe he's a weatherman from.
careful.
What was that? Univision?
Univision?
I think it was, wasn't it?
If I owned a large apartment building, say across the street, I wouldn't be very happy with this at all.
Of course not. Or if you lived in the neighborhood or owned a restaurant around here or a business of any kind, I mean, this is a disaster.
Yeah. Those are some serious trucks, but I would have put them on the other side of the
Yeah,
street.
what is it that they're doing here exactly?
Hi. 15 seconds of not.
NYPD bus.
Well, these are just to make sure, I guess, that I would have put them on the other side of the street, but
I guess it's if you have people on the sidewalk here, it's more difficult for them to spill into the street, is what the idea is, I suppose.
yeah, that could be. And
'Cause
that's
look, they have them like butted right up to each other.
Yeah.
You see that? They just don't want people coming through, flooding the street. I guess it just makes it so that if the cops get overwhelmed by a huge amount of people,
well, they just climb over top of this stuff.
that's true. I can't say I understand why this stuff is all here. Whoa.
Here, I guess, can we go across? What do you want to do?
Well, that's a pretty heavy concentration of cops.
Well, I think here they're trying to stop any surge from reaching Trump Tower. Now, do you want to go down Madison, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, we could head back over towards...
Or down 6th? Or see what happened? We're doing down 7th?
Now, 7th is no good because it interferes, but let's head back over this way, and maybe if we go down 5th, we can pass the library and see if anything's developed over there.
Well, this is, you mean,
Oh, right, sorry. Where is the library? Is that on 5th?
it's
or?
on 5th, yeah. So
I don't mind, wherever you want to go.
Let's go over to Madison and down, and then cut back to lower 5th, say at 49th Street or 48th.
Seems like a huge concentration of officers here. Is something expected specifically here?
Go. Stay safe, gents. We don't have the light.
Yeah. It's just so much unusual activity right now, Charles.
Yeah. This is really, in normal times, this is a really beautiful part of New York. But to see it like this, as it has been for the last 8 months now, 7.5, 8 months,
Quite depressing.
no end in sight.
Right. And if Biden gets in there, mandatory
You mean if
masks,
Harris gets in there?
mandatory lockdowns, vaccines.
I think we have less to worry about with Biden. I think he'll be, if he does actually get sworn in, he'll be last as president under a year. We have a lot more to worry about with Harris.
Right. I mean, that would just be terrible.
That is terrible.
Jesus.
Jesus! Fucking nut. That's
Did
somebody
nobody
I'd
do
arrest.
anything about that?
God. That was close.
That's ridiculous. And,
And
the
he-
cops are shaking their heads like.
And he did that on purpose, by the way, that kid.
I mean,
you know?
because they know that nothing is going to happen.
Well, I mean, that was, I did not see, I didn't have any inkling
That would
of
have been a bad injury.
it would have, yeah, for him and me, but for him
Yes.
too.
He had the helmet on.
Yeah, it just, you don't want to go at high speed into a standing object.
That, was, this thing's
You can
in
stop
the
at
street.
Tiffany here.
Down on the very bottom.
Look at this. That's, I mean, at this time of year, normally what happens is you've got, in the rhythm of New York City, you've got a limited number of weeks to do your holiday shopping.
Right.
And
And for the retail shops to make their money for the
right.
year.
And this is when the people who don't care about discounts and just want to come here and
Right.
maybe they're used to paying a high VAT in whatever country they might buy.
Right.
So they come here and they don't really care. And maybe in some of the countries, our dollar is weak, so they view this as a buying opportunity. Nobody's going to go shopping here.
No. What did that
I'm not a
asshole say?
tourist. He said, asshole tourist. Right?
Charles, there's a lot of hate on the streets.
I know.
I hate
Even
it.
more cops. Look at that one.
They're lying. They know something's happening here.
Well, as I say, it could be that they're also worried about a foreign attack. Not simply, that's what I'd be worried about. If you have these lone wolves, and you have these gullible idiots that we've just seen, and maybe we'll see again in a few minutes, what better cover than to have the mob of those people that we had, and you put some ISIS person in the middle of it, or Al-Qaeda person.
Or China.
Or China. Or those militant Canadians.
What did the Canadians do?
Ann Coulter was very funny. She said we should declare war. She had a column where she famously said we should declare war on the Canadians. Why?
Yeah,
why
why?
not?
Oh.
I mean, with Trudeau, I wouldn't want to try to run that light. That would hurt.
Yeah, that's, I think, standard.
That's a car ender.
Tower protection.
That's a car and life ender.
Yeah.
It must be extremely important. You walk down the street and you've got your nose and eyes looking at your cell phone in the dusk, walking down Madison Avenue, expecting other people to get out of your way. But I have tolerance for diverse expressions of stupidity. I do.
Staying colder for sure.
Yeah. Well, now we're getting very close to.
We got our sound hit again.
Okay.
Wells Fargo covered with wood.
Come back.
Not yet. And why?
Yes, you might want to get on the
Yep.
side.
I think it's back now. Back.
Back. So one office was down there. Dylan Reed moved to this building here.
I thought it was in Wall Street.
It was originally, but in '82 it moved here. And it really was. The number of years that I had at the offices here, they were just fantastically well appointed. And what a treat to be working with a large number of smart people who took the job seriously at a time when the economy was booming. And I don't think anybody back in '82 to '91 would have thought that where we are now in 2020 is a reasonable projection scenario.
Right. No one would have ever imagined this. Look at this. This has become like a bar.
Yeah, you're not supposed to drink beer outdoors.
No, I think that maybe they've allowed it with the outdoor dining. You know, they've
And
made
they got the music.
new laws.
The cantina.
Right.
I mean, this
And there-
across the
there's
street
the
there is
traffic
San
noise.
Pietro restaurant. That's one of the most expensive, or was one of the most expensive and good Italian. I'm sure they're really happy to have the cantina across the street.
Right.
And then I worked in this building too. Which is odd to spend much of your working life working in not even a city block difference from where each of the buildings. And the final place was a complete accident that I would be working for a short time in there. We're open. May not be obvious.
Right. We're covered in plywood.
We're open and we're about to be broken.
But you know, Charles, it's the same tactic that YouTube is taking to try to destroy my business, 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 destroy my business. It's every 2 feet, the damn sound. You know, they take these little incremental steps to try to screw it up, to try to frustrate people, to try to frustrate me, to try to stop the show from happening.
But they cannot succeed. Stores closed everywhere.
It's so bad.
Look at this. The moron. I don't understand the appeal of that. You go up, you tip your bike up, so you're on one wheel, go careening around a city filled with much bigger cars and buses at night, at dusk, when you're not going to be seen that readily. What's the point of that?
I don't know. They do it a lot, though, these wheelie guys.
Yeah, and that kid is like a high school age kid, maybe? Isn't there school? I mean, shouldn't she be doing homework?
No, it's all Zoom now.
Yeah, I bet.
So, yeah.
The boys are coming at 7:30. I'll probably upstairs.
Ah,
What's wrong?
something had changed here with the audio settings. Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Well, I don't know. I guess we've sort of seen the bulk of what's going on here. Let's see what our viewers are saying.
What we can do, Jason, if we have enough juice, we're going there anyway.
Yeah.
Let's go back to in front of the library and see if the
Yeah.
thing got bigger or where it may have gone. If we go, we can go.
Gangs of wheelie kids are everywhere now.
Gangs of wheelie kids?
According to Scoville 7.
What do they call them? Wheelie kids?
Yeah, B. Stinger is asking if I ever spoke to Tori Says.
Who's Tori Says?
Tori Says is a purported CIA whistleblower or something. I think she says she used to work for John Brennan, and she was one of the major people in the Millie Weaver movie that featured Patrick Berge. I did contact Tori Says. I don't trust her. I don't think she has Millie Weaver's best intentions in mind, and I definitely don't trust Patrick Berge. And when that whole story was breaking, I did call Tori Says and ask her if she wanted to be on the show, and she said no, because she knows I was going to ask her questions
She'd have to answer?
that she probably wouldn't want to answer, because they have a program that they're running, and I think they're running it on Millie Weaver, and I think destroying her relationship with InfoWars was part of their agenda, because that reduces her reach. that creates a fight between people who like Millie and people who like Alex and InfoWars, and it's the same sort of thing they did when Corsi was over there and Roger Stone was over there. They want to drop a bomb in the middle of that because InfoWars and Alex Jones are too effective.
Yeah.
And he played a major role in the 2016 election, so they wanted to blow him up.
Blow both of them up, right?
They wanted to blow Millie up. They wanted to make sure the president of television wanted to make sure Crowdsource the Truth wasn't able to live stream during the election. Now, last night, when we assisted Mike Moore in getting the word out about his story, that he revealed Kathy Bachvar is cheating, allegedly. They shut it down right after that.
That's the Secretary of State of Pennsylvania.
Secretary of State of Pennsylvania. Because they don't want us to spend the week exposing information. They want to spend the week stealing the election.
Right.
And then be done with it.
Look at this. Still more plywood. I mean, I don't know what it's like in other cities, but...
People are saying San Francisco plywood also.
Right. But this just... When you go from a mentality of anything's possible, New York's the financial capital of the world, businesses are booming, to one where you're listening to the lawn ornament gnome and the scarf lady and a collection of idiotic governors and power-hungry mayors tell you how to live your life. You're walking around in a mask, taking instructions, while your businesses get shot to hell, your savings get depleted. At what point do we not want to admit that the real enemy we face is not an external enemy, the enemy is from within?
I don't understand why this is happening so often today. Now, what was this, Charles?
But this, I think, was some kind of men's clothing store. Was is the key word in that sentence. And this kind of outfitting is not cheap.
I mean, look at that. It's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
It's like a mansion in there.
And it's one thing for us to say we had no investment in that, and whoever built that business up. And now
They didn't build that.
Yeah, I was talking about Obama.
Yeah.
And here's a deli doing a land office business, literally called Deli on Madison. I forget what that building is, but it is no more.
Wasn't that... I think you had HBO in there.
Uh-huh.
And BBC.
I think they're going to start knocking down all these buildings.
Why? What do you mean?
Oh, I know it. This that's the J.P. Morgan building. That was they're knocking this building you see completely to the ground.
Yeah, but...
And then they're going to put up a gigantic one in its place. At an appropriate moment, we can head right.
Charles, do we have any additional insights or guesses as to why Facebook would be buying up all that office space in the post office?
We don't, but somebody was commenting that Netflix has just purchased a whole bunch more space in Bushwick, which
Why?
is, I don't know, it's a hip place to live. More lumber.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're 47th. This is the jewelry street. I think either one of these three, whether 47th or 46th, we ought to hang a Roscoe and then walk down 5th. Whichever one you just keep going to make right or not.
Well, let's cross the street so we're not going under that scaffolding.
Sure. This has the feel of what it's normally like on Christmas Day, or maybe...
but except with all the calm and joy removed and a sense of tension added.
Right.
And also the place totally wrecked.
Right. And again, I don't know what these proprietors think is going to happen when the weather drops. And there's another. Oh, that's China Moon, not China Moo.
China Moo. Oh, this is the
There's-
McDonald's tent.
The traffic department.
Yeah, well, I mean, we wouldn't want them to do anything.
No, they sit there and they hire as many of those people as possible, and they don't really do much until the end of every month when they write out a whole bunch of tickets.
Right.
And during the day, many of them are on the phone yakking in foreign languages, doing I don't know what, but probably not their main job. Yeah, no helicopters.
It's a very eerie quiet.
They're waiting for the Gettysburg Address, 5 o'clock.
Oh, right.
Joe Biden.
It's 5:11. Let's check the comments if
Is it
anybody's...
9/11 or 5/11?
It's 5:11 right now. And let's see if anybody... Yep. I'm not censoring people for mentioning the 17th letter of the alphabet. I just think it's a trick to attract people to it and then make it illegal. I mean,
The whole street is plywood.
you know, it's also interesting because the bishop out of nowhere started talking about the 17th letter of the alphabet on our last show to the extent that I had to ask him to stop. And then now he's putting 17th letter of the alphabet videos all over his own channel. I don't know what his story is. It's very strange to work with somebody for over a year and have them be so full of praise and then just ghost.
Ghost means not show up.
Not call, not show up, just disappear. There's a helicopter right over the Empire State Building. Charles.
Okay, well, let's head down that way. We have to go that way anyway.
It just went right behind the spire,
It's right there.
hovering, yeah.
There's two of them. That's a sure sign. I think that walk is as people have started down down 5th to Washington Square.
Yeah,
So
it's just hanging there.
yeah, remember I was trying to remember that name of the guy. It's Safra.
Oh, John, oh, right.
Safra was the person I was speaking to in 11 down at that conference where the finance minister of Israel didn't understand why Safra and I were just yakking away and had no interest in talking to the finance minister. So he came up to us. Not because of me, because of Safra. But
Maybe it was because of you.
no.
So let's see, has anybody heard anything from Bite Me?
He probably is going to get up there and do that shebang, shebang
Right.
to warm the crowd up. Yeah, Trump does, what does he do? The various songs he's going to do. Johnny, is it William Hung or Johnny Hung?
William Hung, that's right.
William Hung, an appropriate name for the mascot of Joe Biden. Shebang, shebang.
Actually, a better name for Biden is Should Be Hung.
Or will be hung, if Harris has anything to say about it. If I were he, I'd get a food taster.
Right.
This is absolutely amazing to me. I have never seen so much plywood on anywhere, on any part of New York City, but all over prime shopping in New York. And here's one of these assholes.
That's Five Below. That used to be in the Hilton Hotel. If it is what I think it is, that ice bar, is that what that is?
You're asking the wrong dude. Best Buy. You're not gonna buy.
Best to stay home is what they're going to start calling this thing.
Yeah, he's fast asleep with his pants wide open.
I didn't notice that.
Well, then what do you do with all this plywood once you're done with it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody who reclaims it. I had suggested that people use it to build a off-grid, reclaimed riot plywood tiny house.
Well, doesn't plywood have toxic chemicals in the middle, or it used to have?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, this is also pressboard, not plywood. I think this is lower grade. And I'm not that up on my wood.
What are the knuckleheads still there, or are they gone? I can't tell.
Hey, Charles, remember when they had that whole argument where Larry David accused Seinfeld of having no respect for wood? He said, I revere wood. This is a low-grade wood. Arguing about coasters on the counter.
Those guys are just so naturally funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unfair that they do a show about nothing and become billionaires out of it.
Hey, you entertain people, get money.
Here's some cops going home. Got their shopping done.
Yeah. Everything stay calm by the library?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
that's good news.
Got all the books checked out properly? Oh, that's right, they're closed.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's over.
Well, but it's not, something's going on. They're walking down. I see 2 helicopters from here. We better not. There may be a third in the distance. I'll use this to check and see if Biden has announced.
I mean, talk about a dog whistle. That's his call for people to just go nuts.
You mean when he opens his mouth?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Well,
That's
what
the
is?
Empire State Building.
Oh, that's what you're taking. I thought you were taking a picture of those.
Those are helicopters.
Yeah, helicopters.
Biden declared winner in Michigan. GOP monitors expose Democratic skullduggery in Georgia.
Skullduggery.
Democrats weigh ousting Pelosi.
Why? I thought they love her. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Something keeps happening to the sound.
Let's see. Biden has not announced.
Trump just announced. Just like this, and just gonna break the tension, and everybody can freak out now.
Yeah, we could start by arresting Biden.
Mistake by not making a bigger deal out of the laptop and the allegations and the evidence.
Smell the turpentine?
Yeah, well, is it turpentine or paint on the wood?
There's the remnants of the
It cleared out
morons.
quickly.
But I think there's something going on right over here. Because there's generally when there are 2 helicopters.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be Washington Square, right?
No, I think that's right around 34th Street. Could be wrong, but
That would be much closer to the Empire State
the one I'm looking at is right next to the Empire State Building. See it? Then there's another one and another one. There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
All on a line to have marched down Fifth Avenue, maybe. This is the new style, you know.
I know.
Plywood.
I mean, it
I
just looks
think-
like the whole entire city is out of business.
You get. What are you going to get into out of college? I'm in plywood.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman.
I have one word for you.
Plywood. Or communism. One word for you. Communism. I'm going to be a communist.
It's quite a revelation to learn that this many people want, socialism and communism and chaos.
Well, what it's going to do, people don't understand this yet, is what will shortly happen if this persists, is capital is going to start leaving the U.S. It's certainly going to leave New York.
Got to be gone already.
I mean, in terms of it's being eroded by losses, but people are going to take their capital out of here.
Yeah.
And the only capital that will remain will be dirty money. I mean, substantial capital. So if you're a crook and you're generating drug money and you need to put it into something, you love the value of the real estate to go down, you buy it with cash, and you're a crook. So you
Put a
can,
pizza place in it.
yeah, and whatever, put a
And
massage
and
parlor.
a wellness spa, yeah. And say we massaged 100 feet today. That was $28,000 in cash.
Then you're back to your same problem.
Bakery out of business, Charles. Hey, wait a minute. That's a weed place.
MedMen?
Edmund? Yeah. This is from California. I did not realize they had this in New York. This is interesting. It says, for the well-being of our employees and community requiring all customers, thank you, Edmund. I mean, it's a weed place. The guy's got the weed shirt on. How you doing? And it's located, Charles, in 433. I had no idea that was there, and it's interesting because I did notice
It's the
this
one shop
morning-
that's open.
Right, but I did notice this morning that De Stupido had a tweet where he was like, "Yay, New Jersey, you legalized marijuana. Now you're next, New York." It's like, wait a minute.
The Stupido is which one? De Blasio?
Yeah, the crazio.
The Crazio.
So, but here's the thing. I'm all for legalizing marijuana, tax it, cigarettes are legal, booze is legal, let weed be legal. But why is it that that idiot can snap his fingers and make it illegal to walk outside of your house or open your business, but he can't legalize marijuana in New York City?
Because it's a health emergency.
Yeah, people need weed. Boom. Emergency.
Yeah, that's a tougher argument, I think, than there's a pandemic, and because of that, I have extraordinary powers to protect the public health.
To destroy the public health? What?
Yeah, that too.
Destroy the entire city and then
Destroy the economy.
happily tweet about weed?
And give my wife another $800 million that you won't ever see. No accounting.
I don't understand how that store could be there. Is even medical marijuana legal in New York? I don't think
know.
so.
Not my bailiwick. Want to go for
But
it
that's
or
a
not?
big chain in LA.
Is it? I don't doubt it. I think in New York they probably don't want to enter into competition with the illegal dealers.
I don't understand how they could have a storefront. It's got to be legal in some way. I mean, that
Yeah.
place is making tons of money. They have billboards in Los Angeles and stuff. But I mean, it's interesting. Did that just open during the pandemic?
Yes. Here we are.
There's the Langham Hotel over there, Charles.
Yeah, I don't know if it's called the Langham in London or not. I'll have to look into that. Maybe people in the crowd will know.
There is definitely a Langham Hotel in London.
Yeah, I can't remember if that's the one next to the Piccadilly Hotel or the Ritz, which is where Dylan Reed's office was right near there. Or there's another one that's in Hyde Park, on Hyde Park Corner.
So where'd those helicopters go?
Well, there's one there, and there's probably one behind the.
The sound keeps cutting out.
34th and 5th, I remember that it cuts out regularly.
It's been cutting out a lot today.
There's definitely going to be a demonstration in Washington Square Park at 7, so it's sensible that they would herd the crowd in that direction.
Yeah, it's safe. No, we'll keep going until the battery dies. I got about 15%.
But don't you want? Didn't
Once it gets to like the 5% range, I prefer to stop it normally than
stop?
have it.
Jason, whenever you want to stop it, we're stopping it. Let's go that way.
Yeah.
Careful. Just make sure.
But let's stay down. Let's go down in front of the Empire State Building and see what's going on over
Sure,
there.
sure. That's why I wanted to come over here. So I'd like to go to the top of the Empire State Building.
Right now?
No, I wouldn't. I have. You know, it's pretty expensive to go up there.
haven't been in a while. It's like 20 bucks or something.
More than that.
Is it?
Yeah. Look, it's nothing. Everything's covered up.
I know.
I mean, why don't you go? I mean, I'd rather go to Riyadh right now, and I don't really want to go there.
Exactly. Well, they're probably still under pandemic conditions there, aren't they?
Yeah, but at least the sand as far as the eye can see, Jason. No plywood. Lots of sand.
It's like a desert paradise, Charles.
Imagine you're a young prince and your father, the king, says to you, someday all this will be yours.
Oh, but there's oil underneath it.
Yeah, maybe.
A friend of mine is texting me saying, still think it's going to be Trump.
I do too.
I'm very concerned.
I think they're going to flip Arizona back to Trump. I'm not buying the Michigan thing. I wonder who won the Senate race in Michigan. James was ahead. I wonder what the Senate count is now. I wonder what the House count is now. And I want to see the analysis in these states where the Trump lost in 20, where he had won in 16. I want to see the comparisons of voter turnout, spread, appearances in the state by Biden, appearances in the state by Trump. Jobs created in the state during Trump's period, jobs created during Biden's vice presidency. And I cannot believe that there's a substance argument for Biden other than an illegal substance-based argument.
Well, let me share some comments with you, Charles. We've
Sure.
got Ajay Bah Humbug is just back from Saudi. It's in lockdown.
Oh, good. Good.
And then we've got Chris saying that he enjoyed watching The Twilight Zone but did not want to live it. And then we're walking right by the Empire State Building that we discovered the other day. It's just totally
Boarded up.
enshrined in wood
Yeah.
in a disgraceful display.
50 shades of plywood.
Yes. Trump just tweeted about election fraud in Michigan
Yeah, there was election fraud in
from
Michigan.
Jake.
Yeah. But Biden, the rumor was, and Bannon said categorically, that by 5 p.m. today, Biden was going to announce that he was the victor.
Salty Muse is telling us that we're seeing the coup play out before our eyes. It's no coincidence that there haven't been any indictments of the obvious criminals in the past 4 years.
No,
I can still hear the helicopters.
no, it's close by. I mean,
Look at
let's.
this is wood as far as the eye can see, Charles.
That's right. Was this? Do you think it was sustainably harvested?
I'm sure from Home Depot.
AOC checked that for us.
Yeah. Sustainably harvested from the wood section at Home Depot and driven here on U-Haul. I will say today is the first day we've seen U-Hauls that have been coming into New York rather than leaving New York because they've been filled with wood.
Well, we haven't commented on a positive development in Florida, and that is that this epic criminal, unindicted, unprosecuted criminal, Donna Shalala ha ha ha,
Right.
was defeated in a race by, I think, a young Hispanic woman to be reelected to Congress.
Oh, what happened with Kim Klacik?
She got crushed.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Well, it's a machine. I mean, she got 8% of the vote, and
But that seems huge for somebody who's not a politician and unknown.
right. But you're talking about, I think, the former head of the NAACP or something like that. But I mean, there's it right there. So we're almost there.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about in Baltimore. You're talking about a place that I won't say who it is, but I think told me in confidence that it's one of the prime transshipment points for all kinds of contraband, whether it's drugs,
Right.
human trafficking, you name it.
Counterfeit money.
So the opportunity to steal money and launder money and make money off the illicit practices is very high.
Weren't you asking about a hat shop?
Yeah, that's the hat store.
Oh no, it was John Cullen wanted a hat shop.
And we were walking down there and I thought maybe that hat store had disappeared. This is where Willoughby Peerless was, right?
Yes.
I bought a camera
But it
there.
went out a while ago. I think it went out before the pandemic.
It moved nearby, yeah.
It's done that a few times.
Now, are you worried about this scaffolding? Or?
Nah.
Uh,
I'm worried about this Toyota
Idiot.
crashing into us.
Careful, it's a little deep. Yeah, people don't know, for those people who have not been to New York yet, as the English refer to it, the zebra or zebra crossings, you are absolutely not supposed to move as a driver of a car or truck when a pedestrian has a foot.
Oh no, they do that.
You're not supposed to. It's a, if we had a law enforcement operation, you get a big ticket for that.
Yeah, but they're too busy. The traffic cops are too busy going to McDonald's and watching YouTube.
Dunkin' Donuts. So here we go. Here's a request. A request for proposal. Yeah, that's a high likelihood. Very high likelihood. You want a suit? Would you like a car?
This van here?
No, the guy who said, "Would you get me something to eat?"
Oh, he did? I didn't hear that.
It's over there. I got to get my hearing aid turned down to your level. I don't have a hearing aid, of course, but yet.
Well, people who aren't on mic are very difficult for me to hear when I have these things stuffed in my ears.
I think we could go.
Yeah.
Classic towing. Those tow trucks really are expensive. I don't know if you've been towed recently, but first of all, you have to pay cash. And
always a trustworthy type of business.
Yeah.
What do you think this charter bus is doing here, Charles?
I think that's to get the communists ready to go. Actually, this could be one of those intercity buses. Ali Motor Coach.
What does it say on the door there?
No mast, no ride. Doesn't seem to indicate it. It seems like it's right above us.
It is.
Let's keep going. It's probably over Madison Park.
Yeah.
We're
That guy just almost totally dumped with his camera.
Again, skateboarder, you're over 12, 14 years old,
Charles,
you're a
there's
moron.
always a line here at this sample sale.
Well, that would make for an interest. So, yeah, there are a large number. You see the vehicles, flashing lights down there?
Yeah. You have to get hand sanitized to go.
Follow the riot. You have Storm Chaser, Riot Chaser.
Charles, it's weird to me that all those people are waiting in line at that sample sale. Isn't a sample sale usually like fashionable, kind of like...
On the list of shows you're probably not going to do with me, any show having to do with fashion
But I
or
just mean,
retail.
I've been by that thing many different times of day, and there's always a line.
Sure, yeah, because people are into fashion. You get stuff really
But is
cheap.
it maybe something else going on in there other than
I don't know.
a sample sale?
She has my back.
Because those didn't look like people to me that would normally go to a sample sale.
You know, I've walked by that as well. I don't know that it's samples as well as used clothing. Off, past season clothing that they're just getting rid of.
It's strange to me that every single thing is closed and that's open and there's a line.
Well, God almighty, look at this.
I just feel terrible for a little kid like that who's out trying to skate around on the thing and like they're in this like
Here we have a gigantic restaurant in operation with absolutely nobody eating.
Anybody eating tonight, guys?
No.
Anybody coming in? Sorry? Anybody coming in the restaurant tonight?
Yes, yes.
Good luck.
Yeah, they don't want to say anything negative on camera, obviously, because...
Right. Anyone coming to eat this dreck?
Well, but there's nobody there, of course. I mean...
Well, that's Jason to give you your sense of privacy and
right.
Make sure that you're COVID-free and customer-free.
Nobody would want to sit on the sidewalk when, even if you didn't think there was going to be any kind of violence, seeing all this plywood would certainly make you think there is.
Yeah. Well, Jason, I don't know. We're getting pretty close to your cutoff.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty low on battery, and here's another new 7-Eleven. When did this open? When did this 7-Eleven open?
It's been here a while.
16 years? How did I never notice a 7-Eleven right here on Fifth Avenue?
Well, I don't see you as the
That's not
7-Eleven.
open 16 years ago.
It has been here, yeah. I don't see you as a 7-Eleven kind of guy.
No, it was
Getting
just,
up, getting up first thing in the morning and saying, you know, I want a Slurpee. I want to have a raspberry
Charles,
Slurpee.
These guys right here, these are not classic New York homeless guys. Those are guys here from out of town, in their 20s. They're homeless because they don't mind camping, smoking weed out on the street. Homeless people in New York are not doing that kind
Those
of
are
stuff.
homeless chic.
Yes.
This electric bike is moving.
Yeah, he's going pretty fast.
Yeah, that one's over Union Square maybe. Or Washington. But Washington is more like this. I think,
That one's looking more...
Jason, we, touch wood, we have escaped the worst of the, at least for the moment.
Yeah.
There's another one over there. Now that's probably over Washington
Here,
Square Park.
right directly above us, Charles.
Okay, well maybe when we turn around we'll see why.
They're coming right for us. I don't know. Well, we live to
Don't say it yet.
broadcast another day.
Don't say it yet. I'm not home.
This place is
Trump
open.
for president. So why would there be a helicopter overhead us? I don't see any people over there.
Don't know.
Don't see.
Is there anything happening here in Madison?
I don't see
We
it.
would hear it.
You want to cut that way, or you
Sure.
over to 7th? And then I'll peel away.
Let's see if anybody knows anything from the comments here. There's some bicycle dudes. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Now you've got yet another entry in our walk-arounds,
This is nighttime edition, Charles. The first time we've done that.
chronicling the fall of New York.
It's sad but true. Now, for a very short while, this was a busy nightlife dinner area with a couple of restaurants kind of on the street, and they had a DJ, and it was actually for about 2 days kind of nice. This was a big chicken place that's, I guess, closed. They haven't,
What's that phrase? Not anymore.
yeah, they haven't used the they got a lot of sidewalk space here, but they haven't used it. Someone says, trust the plan. But they're joking, 2030, they mean agenda.
So, somebody sent me, and I tweeted out, a juxtaposition of what's his name, Schwab of the World Economic Forum, articulating his vision for resetting the global economy and
doing that right now.
and juxtaposing it with Dr. Evil. Pretty funny.
Right. I mean, that's what they're doing right now, isn't it?
They're trying to.
It seems to have worked. Everything is...
Plywood everywhere. But why anyone would think that Americans are going to take seriously the pronouncements of some Swiss-German gnome telling us how to redo everything in his image. By the way, his foundation will run everything. And by the way, it's not really a foundation in the classic sense. And by the way, he's making a shit ton of money off of it.
Schwab?
Not the trading operation, but the World
Yeah, no,
Economic
it's something
Forum.
else, Schwab.
It's Kurt. Is it Kurt? Carl? Kurt? I don't know.
Kurt Schwab? I don't know.
Something Schwab. That's the Ted Malick was instrumental in the early days, building that thing up.
Uh-huh.
And then he had a falling out with Schwab because he felt it wasn't really staying too true to its principles of espoused principles of acting in the best interest of humanity and all that, but rather in the best interest of the Schwab family.
Right.
There's a shock. I mean, who would have thought that would ever happen?
Yeah, exactly. How long can a place like this stay open? I mean, do we think that people are making $1 million kitchens and bathrooms?
Are they now $1 million kitchens?
I mean, I don't know, but...
I mean, I in 1992, I spent $300,000 on a kitchen, but it was big.
I hope you cooked a lot of good stuff in there.
Oh yeah. No, I never cooked in there. But
Somebody did.
Yeah, no, it was
We are going to Mars, not me, somebody else.
that was pretty funny. His sense of timing.
It's very funny. I don't
very-
even think he's trying necessarily. So CVS now is totally covered in.
Well, that's because there's stuff that you can convert into
Drugs,
meth,
right.
into meth very easily, cough syrup.
Oh, right.
In fact, most CVSs are covered over, but not the 99 cent pizza stores, pizza joints.
Is that 24 hours?
I wouldn't know. I mean, getting close to the latest I've ever been outside in recent
Past 7 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, I tend to try to get in by latest 6. And,
Good practice these days.
yeah.
So very hungry.
So I feel sorry for the guy, but instead of giving to Crazio's wife $800 million, you
You
should
should help people like
should-
that.
a limited number of people like that. It may be 10,000 in the city, it may be 100,000. I mean, I would have thought that 800 million could go a long way.
Yeah, well, so they never found out what happened to any of that.
And they're not going to.
Wow.
But meanwhile, if Trump doesn't move, I think Bannon's right. If there's not aggressive movement, and he does control the FBI now, in theory, DOJ, IRS. If he doesn't,
Fire Ray. I'm disappointed that he didn't do that today.
right? And I love the comment somebody said on Free Republic. Since we're in this interregnum period, does Nancy Pelosi take over? No. Donald
Trump is still the president.
till January 20th, even if he loses.
Right.
And but I agree. Betting markets were signaling right before we went on air that Trump was going to win. Stock markets,
Over there.
sure.
Some sort of a deal going on right there that we don't want to be involved in.
Is that the homeless shelter?
It is.
It's good to have those everywhere.
Just a cash transaction happening.
All right.
Yeah.
Do they have frequent flyer program? What's
Yeah,
that
the
stuff?
loyalty program. Yeah, this place is powering it through. This has been consistently busy, the sports bar.
Yeah. Well, I think consistently, I mean, it is in the 60s right now.
Yeah, it's warm right now. Given the time of year.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Charles. So tomorrow I've got Charlie Robinson coming on. He's got a new book out that he wrote with Jeff Berwick, the dollar vigilante who runs that Anarchapulco event.
Good.
So we'll see what Charlie has to say.
Good. And I'll take.
Epic Giuliani statement, my friend in Austin, Texas says. I didn't get to see it. I wonder what Giuliani had
No,
to say.
Giuliani has been put into ass-kicking mode.
Make him the head of the FBI or make him the Attorney General.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's what he's got to do. Giuliani, Attorney General, indict Biden tomorrow for espionage, arrest him, and let everybody go crazy.
And put the evidence out.
Put the evidence out.
Come here.
And just say, this guy cannot be president.
Right.
It's literally the Chinese. It's a Chinese agent taking over the country.
Right.
I don't know, we'll probably get blocked from YouTube for saying that. All right, Charles.
All right,
we're at the
Jason.
end of the line here. Thanks for watching, everybody. And please sponsor the show, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, subscribestar.com/